What? It says we're working? It says it's working? Dude, this shit makes no sense. This shit, there's no reasonable explanation for any of this, I'm telling you. Makes no fucking sense what's going on. And I'll show you, right? Like this is the YouTube studio, right? But let me see, can I pull this up? You see this? This is my Streamlabs. See that? And I click start stream down here, and it says I'm live. You see it up here where it says live, right? And it'll say you're live. But then up here, you see where it says excellent connection? It'll have a red dot, and it'll say, like, connect your stream. And I'm like, bitch, I'm live. It says I'm live. And then I do it another time, and then it works. Like, it just randomly, it's not like I change anything. It just randomly works. Makes no sense. Copy that, brother. Luigi, enough. Everything's computer. Do I have another, let me make sure I don't have another live stream sitting there. Nah, this is good. I am become meme. May. Good morning, Vietnam. So, here's what we got for the big news. This is probably the biggest story in modern history. This is probably the biggest story in modern history. Listen, we already have forces involved in Iran shooting down their drones and missiles. But Trump is going to make the decision as per whether or not to go full-fledged assault to officially declare war on Iran. He's going to make that decision today. Today. Hi, Beans. Trump's Iran choice, last chance diplomacy or a bunker-busting bomb. Iranian officials have warned that U.S. participation in an attack on its facilities will imperil any chance of the nuclear disarmament deal the president insists he is still interested in pursuing. King Doland is weighing a critical decision in the 4-day-old war between Israel and Iran. Whether to enter the fray by helping Israel destroy the deeply buried nuclear enrichment facility at Fordo, which only America's bunker buster, dropped by American B-2 bombers, can reach. If he decides to go ahead, the United States will become a direct participant in a new conflict in the Middle East, taking on Iran in exactly the kind of war Mr. Trump has sworn in 2 campaigns that he would avoid. Iranian officials have already warned that U.S. participation in an attack on its facilities will imperil any remaining chance of the nuclear disarmament deal that Mr. Trump insists he is still interested in pursuing. Mr. Trump at one point encouraged his Middle East envoy, Steve Witkoff, and possibly Vice President J.D. Vance to offer to meet the Iranians, according to a U.S. official. But on Monday, Mr. Trump posted on social media that everyone should immediately evacuate Tehran. Hardly a sign of diplomatic progress. Let's see what Trump said on Truth today. He didn't say shit. Oh no, that's pinned. Let's see. Somebody please explain to kooky Tucker Carlson that Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. This is because Tucker Carlson and a lot of people are abandoning Trump. I mean, even fucking Tucker Carlson abandoned Trump. America first means many great things, including the fact that Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. Make America great again. Okay, so we're going to war. If I didn't put the National Guard in Los Angeles, the place would be burned to the ground right now. I did. Incompetent Governor Gavin Newsom, who doesn't have a clue, the favor of a lifetime. One of the worst governors in history. Publicity-seeking President Emmanuel Macron of France mistakenly said that I left the G7 summit in Canada to go back to D.C. to work on a ceasefire between Israel and Iran. Wrong. He has no idea why I am now on my way to Washington, but it certainly has nothing to do with a ceasefire. Much bigger than that. Whether purposely or not, Emmanuel always gets it wrong. Stay tuned. That's the craziest thing I've read today. I've not reached out to Iran for peace talks in any way, shape, or form. That is more highly fabricated fake news. If they want to talk, they know where to reach me. They should have taken the deal that was on the table. Would have saved a lot of lives. Mike Huckabee. Mr. President, God spared you in Butler, Pennsylvania to be the most consequential president in a century, maybe ever. The decisions on your shoulders I would not want to be made by anybody else. You have many voices speaking to you, sir, but there is only one voice that matters, his voice. I am your appointed servant in this land and am available for you, but I do not try to get in your presence often because I trust your instincts. No president in my lifetime has been in a position like yours, not since Truman in 45. I don't reach out to persuade you, only to encourage you. I believe you will hear from heaven, and that voice is far more important than mine or anyone else's. You sent me to Israel to be your eyes, ears, and voice, to make sure our flag flies above our embassy. My job is to be the last one to leave. I will not abandon this post. Our flag will not come down. You did not seek this moment. This moment sought you. It is my honor to serve you. Mike Huckabee. Yeah, dude, make sure you fucking zip it up when you're done blowing him. Dude, this guy's doing fucking tricks on it. What a fucking weirdo, bro. Ugh. Iran should have never signed the deal I told them to sign. What a shame. Wait, Iran should have signed the deal I told them to sign. What a shame. Waste of human life. Simply stating Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. Yeah, okay. Brother is literally spitting on it. Two-hand twist tugging it. Fucking cradling Trump's balls and telling him he's a good boy. Like, oh my God, that's the craziest shit. Ew. Oh, breaking news 5 minutes ago. Israel says it's killed another Iranian general. Israel claimed it killed another senior Iranian military official on Tuesday, as President Trump returned to Washington to deal with the war between Iran and Israel. I think Tel Aviv got bombed as fuck yesterday, too. Fed up driver runs over protest. The New York Post and every single one of its editors can suck my cock. Why didn't you say terrorist runs through protesters? Fed up driver? Whoever the fuck made that title Rot in hell. Rot in hell, you unprofessional fucking swine. Fed up driver. You're a fucking rat. You're a fucking rat. I don't know who the fuck came up with this title, but I hope to God you see this clip. You're a pathetic fucking rat. What the fuck, dude? Thank you for the $10, Kittensworth. Feels like being awake. Feels wild being awake.
Iran and Israel are at war, trading more attacks. This video is from earlier in Israel. You see a huge plume of smoke from an Iranian strike. Israel is also ramping up its efforts. President Trump arrived back in the U.S. about 2 hours ago. He cut his trip to Canada for the G7 summit short. The White House said it was, quote,
look at him
because
taking
of what
his
was going
time.
on.
He knows he cannot fall. He cannot fall.
In the Middle East. And on that point, we have a team of correspondents covering every angle of this for you. Ed O'Keefe is at the White House with what the president is up to. Remy Inocencio is digging into the situation in Iran. But let's begin with Deborah Potter in Tel Aviv. Deborah, good morning to you. I'm wondering how often people are hearing sirens there and what the mood is as we move into a...
So this is last night. Looks like a fucking alien invasion, bro. Jesus Christ. Yeah, why is the music so fucking good? Like, why did you have to put an absolute bop over this? No, this is Haifa. It's in Israel. It's a port city.
ובעצם היה אירוע, בהלה, חרדה, הבניין כולו נהרס, אפשר לשים לב.
There was panic and anxiety at the event. The entire building was destroyed. You can see apartments from here. I was lucky that we were in the shelter.
והמזל זה שהיינו במקלט. אתה לא יכול לעלות הביתה. אין לעלות הביתה.
I couldn't go home. Everything was destroyed.
בית. אי אפשר. הכל הרוס. הגרם מדרגות הרוס.
$50 says this guy fucking killed a kid in Gaza. I'm genuinely willing to bet $50 that this motherfucker was in the IDF and used to smile while he sniped children in Gaza. There it is. I was a soldier in the army, so I have control, composure. I helped people. I counted them, and it somehow helped me get out of this panic and go fuck yourself, you fucking IOF rat.
אולי יש לי שליטה קצת בקור רוח. די עזרתי לאנשים, ידעתי לספור את הכוחות, אז זה גם איכשהו עזר לי לצאת מהבעלה הזאת, אתה יודע, ולתפקד ולנהל את האירוע הזה. היינו 12-13 ילדים היו שם במקלט שרק צרחו, כל השאר.
There were about 12 to 13 children there in the shelter screaming and about 11 adults. Oh, you know who doesn't have shelters? The Palestinians, because you destroyed them all.
עוד איזה 11 מבוגרים בעצם.
מקבלים התראה מפיקוד העורף.
We received 3 alerts from the Home Front Command about a missile launch, and we immediately entered the shelter with my 5 children and the dog.
3 התראות צמודות. אנחנו נכנסים לממ"ד באופן מיידי עם 5 ילדיי והכלב, סוגרים את הדלת ושומעים.
Is it wrong that I feel no sympathy for Israel? Also, Computer Fund, thank you for the $5. It is wrong that you feel no sympathy for Israel. You guys need to take one thing into account here, which is that nobody chooses their spawn point. For example, this guy's talking about his children and his dog. They didn't do anything. No child has committed a crime. No dog has committed a crime, other than the IOF. They're all fucking dogs.
אחרי כמה שניות עדף מאוד חזק. הממ"ד
I
כולו...
closed the door, then after a few seconds we heard a very loud bang. The entire shelter shook, the building shook, and the steel doors of the windows shook.
הבניין רעד, הדלתות פלדה של החלון ממ"ד רעדו, לא נגרם שכל החשמל נפל.
All the electricity went out. There was a high voltage cable that fell. An electrical transformer room was on fire. It was impossible to access.
היה פה כבל מתח גבוה שנפל. חדר טרנספורמציה של חשמל עולה באש, ולא היה ניתן לגשת, היו המון פיצוצים, ושריפה של...
There were many explosions and a fire that completely destroyed several cars.
לגמרי באופן קליל.
Christ almighty. This is 3 minutes ago breaking. 3 minutes ago.
Did everybody have a good time? How about you? I did. I always have a good time. Hello. Hi, Jennifer.
You just posted right before we took off that you're not leaving because of a ceasefire. Why are you? Can you elaborate?
We're looking at better than ceasefire.
So war? We're looking at better than ceasefire, so war? Oh my God.
We're not looking for a ceasefire. I didn't say I was looking for a ceasefire. That was Emmanuel. Nice guy. But he doesn't get it right too often. But we're not looking. We're looking for better than a ceasefire.
You're looking to get into this more. You're not going to involve the U.S. in this conflict at this stage. You're going to do anything more for Israel right now?
Doing pretty well right now.
Yo, I don't feel safe with this man as my leader. Yo, can we rewatch this? Can we rewatch that? Yo, is there any MAGA in the chat? I gotta know. I gotta know if there's any MAGA in the chat. Because this, bro, that's scary.
The U.S. in this conflict at this stage. You're going to do anything more for Israel right now?
We're doing pretty well right now. We're doing pretty well. Remember, Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. It's very simple. You know, we don't have to go too deep into it. They just can't have a nuclear weapon.
What was the thinking on the call for Tehran to evacuate? Is there a threat,
What you need a MAGA to say? I needed to know what a MAGA would think after hearing that.
or is there incoming? What was the thinking on the full evacuation?
I want people to be safe. And that's always possible. A thing like that could happen. I just want people to be safe.
Is there any new concern about U.S. troops or assets in the region at all today?
We have great people. They know how to protect themselves.
And when you say better, what
Thanks for the $25, Battle Mason. I was broke during the career, but keep kicking butt, bro. Thank you. I appreciate the $25.
specifically do you
Down so hard if they do anything to our people. We'll come down so hard, and then the gloves are off so beautifully. Now,
What the fuck did you just say?
themselves.
And when you say better, what specifically do you
Down so hard if they do anything to our people. We'll come down so hard, and then the gloves are off so beautifully.
We'll come down like hell if they do anything to our people. Then the gloves comes off so beautifully. then the gloves come off so beautifully. Why don't you go? Why don't you pick up a rifle, put on a vest, and fight? What do you mean so beautifully? Beautiful for who? Beautiful for the 17 and 18-year-old kid who's going to get shot in the stomach, screaming, bleeding out, crying for his mother in the sands of Iran? Who's it beautiful for? The 6-year-old girl in Tel Aviv who's going to get her fucking arms blown off by an Iranian drone? Who's it beautiful for? The 21-year-old U.S. Air Force pilot who's going to get shot down trying to take out Iranian drones at the behest of protecting Israel? Who's it going to be beautiful for other than Lockheed fucking Martin? Who's it going to be beautiful for other than you and the rest of the fucking billionaires who are already investing in weapons manufacturing?
I think they know not to touch our troops.
Are you sending the vice?
Yeah, but our troops are ready.
When you say better,
Our troops are ready. We're absolutely at DEFCON 2. We are absolutely at DEFCON 2.
The Vice President and Steve Witkoff. There's reports that you want to send the Vice President and Steve Witkoff to meet with the Iranians and have discussions. Is that something you're considering?
Not sure yet. I may. Depends on what happens when I get back.
what specifically is better than a ceasefire? What are you looking for here?
A real end, not a ceasefire. An end.
So something that will be permanent.
Yeah. Or giving up entirely. That's okay too.
Are you close there? Is that possible in the next 24, 48 hours?
Certainly possible. A complete give up. That's possible, yeah.
Has the chairman of the Joint Chiefs and the Secretary of Defense drawn up plans for you if Iran were to attack U.S. bases or do any damage to U.S. bases?
I just can't tell you.
So yes, they have. They've given him a plan on what to do if Iran attacks U.S. forces.
Because there's been some skepticism. Is there any guarantee that if the U.S. did get involved militarily, that a U.S. bomb could destroy Iran's nuclear program and facilities?
Everything or anything or life, you know that. Look at you, right? There's no guarantee. But you're saying a guarantee on what?
Do you think if the U.S. got involved militarily, it would actually wipe out Iran's nuclear program? Or where's your assessment of that?
I hope their program's going to be wiped out long before that. But they're not going to have a nuclear weapon.
What are you hearing from BBs? Do you have any reason to believe the Israelis are going to slow down, or are they going to hit the accelerator right now because they've got superiority?
Yeah, over the next 2 days, right? You're going to find out.
Has the Gang of Eight,
Nobody's slowed up so far.
has the Gang of Eight been notified about what's coming in the next couple days?
We'll be talking to them. But what can you do? It's not necessary.
$10 donation from Azariah Zivan. You think it would be a good idea to require military service for all future presidents to make them better understand what happens when they issue orders? No. I don't think it should be a requirement. There shouldn't be. The only requirement to be the president of the United States should be to be born in the United States and to be 35 years of age. That should be the only requirement. However, I do firmly believe that when it comes to declaring war, which you need Congress to do, I believe that any sitting congressman or congresswoman who votes yes to a war and has a child or grandchild that is of military age, their immediate family members, if you're a congressman and you vote yes to war, even if your child or grandchild that is of military age is not trained, they should be immediately forced to go to the front lines. If you are so willing to wage a war, send your own blood. I firmly believe in this. Every single congressman who, including, and the president, for example, if Donald Trump declares war on Iran, I firmly believe that Barron Trump should be forced to fight on the front lines. Genuinely, I believe that. I don't give a fuck if he's kicking and screaming the whole way. Drag him by his fucking ears onto the front line. Do you guys agree? Do you guys agree? I see where you're coming from, but this is like draft level stuff. I think that if we never had a draft, it should be them first, not unless we have a draft. No, I think if you are willing to wage a war and you get to make the decision, you should send your fucking blood. Just like you said, people can't choose their spawn point. Kids can't choose their father either. Yes, but their fathers and their mothers are going to send millions of American young boys and girls to go fight and die. Why not theirs? Why not theirs? Why the fuck not theirs?
What can you do in Washington that you couldn't do in Canada?
Just be a little bit, I think, more well-versed. Not having to use telephones so much, because I don't believe in telephones. People...
I don't believe in telephones? Brother, you just launched Trump Mobile, your own telephone service.
Like you listen to them, you know. So, being on the scene is much better. And we did everything I had to do in the G7. We had a good G7. We signed...
Yeah, Vengeful's got a good point. For a threat like that to work, you assume that these people care about these kids, their own kids, and they don't. $5 donation. And Chris, what is your take on the No Kings protest breaking the 3.5% threshold? Will anything come of it? Has the dominoes already begun to fall? Yes. Trump's downfall is happening right in front of you. Fox News, like a lot of their viewers are abandoning Trump. Tucker Carlson is abandoning Trump. The veterans are abandoning Trump. Everybody is abandoning Trump. The only people left who still vehemently support Trump are mentally disabled people, okay? That's where we've reached. It's gotten to the point where even Trump and his loyalists can feel the tide turning. There's no fucking shot that there isn't a consequence to pay. No shot.
The deal with the European Union, phase one of a deal, but we signed the deal with the UK. And the UK is really great. We're very far down the line with a lot of deals. I mean, look, we're actually finished with every deal if you really think about it, because all that
3.5%. Throughout a lot of modern history, all you've really needed to start a giant movement is 3.5% of your population to agree on something. All of this began in the Vietnam War. Just so you understand, the turning point of the downfall of the American empire was the Vietnam War, okay? We have not won a war since World War II. And in World War II, we barely participated. Same thing in World War I. Vietnam was this massive wake-up call to the American people where we brought journalists to the front lines. We got footage of American soldiers burning down houses with their own Zippo lighters, even though there's no Viet Cong in the area. We got just... This anti-war movement began back in America. People started to shit all over the politicians. This distrust in our leaders started to brew, where people realized that they're having backroom conversations and not telling the American people. This all culminated in Vietnam with the anti-war protesters, who were about 3.5% of the population. So you think protesters can attack people's cars and not have anything happen to them? No. I think that people are very well aware of the consequences. For example, like somebody who throws a rock into a army recruitment center. They know what they're doing is illegal and they are willing to go to prison for this act. They're aware of that. Totally fine.
Say this is what you're going to pay. But it's nice to be nice.
Did Secretary Bessent stay behind as your representative? Or?
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody else?
Yeah, a couple of people.
Can I ask you where?
Here we go. Who else has a question other than CNN?
Mr. President, you talked about the European Union. Can you tell us what the status is on talks on those you signed with the UK today?
I don't feel that they're offering a fair deal yet. Very tough over the years. If you look at European Union, they formed in order to hurt the United States on trade, and we're either going to make a good deal or they'll just pay whatever we say they have to pay.
What about the Japanese? So you met briefly with Prime Minister
We had a
Shiba?
great conversation. I thought he was terrific, actually. You know, I was very friendly with Shinzo Abe, Prime Minister.
Oh, he misses his best friend Shinzo Abe.
But I think he's going to do a very good job.
You think you have a chance of a deal there?
Chance. They're tough. Japanese are tough. But ultimately, you have to understand, we're just going to send a letter and say, this is what you're going to pay. Otherwise, you don't have to do business with us. But there's a chance of a deal.
They want changes to the auto tariffs as well. Is that on the
See
table?
what happens. Anything else?
And it's a drone attack in Kyiv. What's your response to that? It looks like 14 or so, a drone attack, a Russian drone attack in Kyiv. Very recently. It seems 14 civilians, an apartment building.
Came back to see you. Sounds like it. I'll have to look at it.
Joint statement on the Middle East. What changed about that convinced you to sign on to it? The G7 joint statement.
Well, I haven't seen the statement yet, but I authorized them to say certain things. I don't know whether or not they said them correctly, but I think they probably
Captions
did.
are not
We had
available.
A good meeting. I think that Canadian representatives were very good. He did a very good job.
How are the trade? How was your meeting with him? How are the trade talks looking with the Canadians?
I think we had a lot of good talks with a lot of people.
You said he's looking for something more complex. Can you tell me what you mean by that?
They get too complex in
I wonder what Trump's sweaty gooch smells like.
the deals and they never get done. And we need speed. You know, we're dealing with really, if you think about it, probably 175 countries. And most of them are going to just be sent a letter saying, it'll be an honor to trade with you, and here's what you're going to have to pay to do it. We're making a lot of money. You know, we took in $88 billion in tariffs, and I was called by Congress about 2 nights ago saying, we don't understand, the numbers are so far.
You guys you guys hated that one. McDonald's Big Mac grease. Oh, Jesus Christ, bro. I bet he itches.
Off. And I said, is that good or bad? He
I bet
said,
you
well,
Trump itches
we're
and
taking
scratch
in
and
so
sniffs.
much
He's a
more
scratch and
income than
sniff.
we thought. We've never seen anything
I bet you,
like this.
dude.
What is
I
it?
bet you Trump goes like this. I bet you goes, ooh, that's nice. Ooh, I like that. Do we actually have bombers en route to Iran? Yeah. Let's see. Oh, Jesus Christ. Where is it? Where is it? Let's see. There's a gas station in the sky. We got refueling tankers in the sky. And our boy. Oh, God. Oh, Jesus. Why boycott Adam Sandler? Brother, I don't even give a fuck that Adam Sandler is a Zionist. Adam Sandler is a dog shit comedian. He's horrendous. He's a terrible actor. It doesn't matter what role he is, he always talks like this. I am Adam Sandler, and this is comedy. Talking like this. Talking like this. I fucking hate Adam Sandler. Fucking dog shit. The only fucking good movie Adam Sandler was ever in was Click. That is the only good movie Adam Sandler has ever been in. Waterboy? Nope, dog shit. The Northrop B-2 Spirit, also known as the Stealth Bomber, is an American heavy strategic bomber featuring low observable stealth technology designed to penetrate dense anti-aircraft defenses. A subsonic flying wing with a crew of 2, the plane was designed by Northrop, later Northrop Grumman, as the prime contractor with Boeing, Hughes, and Vought as principal subcontractors. It was produced from 1988 to 2000. The bomber can drop conventional and thermonuclear weapons, such as up to 8,500-pound class Mark 82 JDAM GPS-guided bombs, or 16 2,400-pound B-83 nuclear bombs. You're telling me this thing can hold 16 2,000-pound nuclear bombs? How fucking many of these do we have? We got 20. We got 20 of them. We got 20 of them. 16 times 20. What is it? 16 times 20. 320. So you're telling me that if we sent the whole squad of B-2s, we could drop 320 nuclear bombs? Bro, we might be the most scary motherfuckers in history. We might be the scariest motherfuckers who have ever existed. Because don't forget, we're also fucking stupid. America is also fucking insanely stupid. We're so stupid. Oh my God. One was destroyed in a 2008 crash. Who the fuck did that? Crashed on the runway moments after takeoff. What a bunch of fucking idiots. How much does one of these cost? $2 billion? That's a big mistake. There's only 80 people in the United States who are qualified to fly a B-2. Bro, those guys must feel like God. Those guys must feel like God. One B-2 Spirit can have 16 nukes. One or two? No, bro. One B-2 Spirit can have 16 nukes. Oh, shit. The U.S. and Israel are having a little bit of a feud here. Israel says Iran was racing towards a nuclear weapon. U.S. intel says it was years away. U.S. intelligence assessments had reached different conclusion. Not only was Iran not actively pursuing a nuclear weapon, it was also up to 3 years away from being able to produce and deliver one to a target of its choosing, according to 4 people familiar with the assessment. Don't use CNN, bro. Oh, God. Are you one of those fucking people who believes that anything coming out of CNN is a lie? Jans, are you saying anything that comes out of CNN is a lie? Are you serious? Is Fox News some... What? 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 Yeah, you read that? No, that's not English. Is Fox News some? That's not English, dude. What does that mean? Calm down, bro. Brother, what is your problem with this article? Because it's CNN, it must be fake news, right? Is that what you're saying? Because this is CNN, it must be a lie, right? Is that what you're saying? Jesus fucking Christ. Bro, CNN don't show all the truth. Brother, put this kid in the corner for 60 seconds so he can think about how fucking stupid he sounds. Put him in the corner for 60 seconds so he can realize how fucking stupid he is. Another senior U.S. official told CNN that Iran is about as close as you can get before building a nuclear weapon. If Iran wanted one, they have all the things they need. Now, after days of Israeli airstrikes, U.S. intelligence officials believe that so far, Israel may have set back Iran's nuclear program by only a matter of months. According to one of those people, a U.S. official, even as Israel has done significant damage to Iran's facility at Natanz, which houses centrifuges necessary to enrich uranium, a second heavily fortified enrichment site at Fordo has remained effectively untouched. So Fordo is where our B-2 bombers would be heading, because the nuclear facility in Fordo, Iran, is buried deep in a mountain, okay? Underground, in a mountain. It's protected by the mountain ranges. And allegedly, Israel does not have the bunker buster required to actually penetrate that facility. Other than their nuclear weapons, Israel could just fucking nuke them, but clearly they don't want to do that. So this is why Trump is having an emergency meeting with his cabinet to decide whether or not we should send in B-2 bombers carrying 3,000-pound Moabs to just bomb the fuck out of those mountains. Israel can hover over those nuclear facilities, render them inoperable, but if you really want to dismantle them, it's either a U.S. military strike or a deal. Oh, I forgot to do the poll. Shit. Let's make the poll. There's your poll. That raises a key dilemma. Oh, wait. If I close this, is the poll going to end? Hold on. close poll. There we go. This raises a key dilemma for the Trump regime, which is struggling to avoid becoming entangled in a costly, complex war in the Middle East. It's not even attempting to avoid it. The fuck? Although President Donald Trump has made clear that he does not want to involve the U.S., he has not made this clear. This is bullshit. We just fucking watched him. Excuse me. What the fuck? Would want to be prepared for the most challenging contingency. The winter contingency, bro. Are we talking about the fucking winter contingency right now? Is that what we're talking about? The U.S. is realigning forces in the region as the conflict escalates. Yo, have you guys ever seen the movie Threads? Has anybody ever seen the movie Threads? Anybody? Because this is giving Threads. Down bad, this is giving Threads. Where everyone is protesting across the world, going, no war, no war, no bombs, no nukes. And then suddenly, everybody gets a fucking notification on the news that says, nuclear blast detected in Iran. And then in less than 3 hours, every nuclear-armed nation on planet Earth fires their entire fucking arsenal at every other nuclear power in hopes of destroying them so that the billionaires who get to go live in a bunker for the next 5 fucking years can come out and rebuild society at the top because they destroyed all of their enemies and allocated all the fucking resources. Ugh. U.S. military and intelligence officials have long said that the U.S. and Israel often differ on how to interpret information on Iran's nuclear program, although they closely share it. Trump's director of national intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, yo, do you guys remember what Tulsi posted on Twitter a couple of fucking days before Israel attacked Iran? Oh, shit. Surprised you understood the Sheffield accent? Oh, of course I understand it, bro. You guys remember what Tulsi fucking posted? Now it's all starting to make sense, huh? Now it's all starting to make sense. You didn't see what Tulsi posted? You're not going to like this. With seemingly no explanation, on June 10th, right before the Israelis bombed Iran, this is what Tulsi Gabbard posted.
Of a city that the survivors, the Hibakusha, their own memories. Yet this one bomb that caused so much destruction on Hiroshima was tiny compared to today's nuclear bombs. The bomb that was dropped on Hiroshima had a yield of just 15 kilotons of TNT, whereas today's nuclear warheads range in size from 100 kilotons to over 1 megaton.
This is what people do not understand. This is what I learned at the Nuclear Proliferation Treaty at the United Nations. You see Hiroshima right here? The bombs we have today make Hiroshima look like a hand grenade. I'm going to say this one more time. The bombs that we have today make the nuclear bomb we dropped on Hiroshima look like a fucking hand grenade. We are talking about bombs that are powerful enough to shift tectonic plates. You guys remember how the world used to be Pangea and then it split into different continents? That is what we are talking about. These are bombs that could destroy the fucking moon.
A single nuclear weapon today could kill millions in just minutes. Just one of these nuclear bombs would vaporize everything at its core. People, buildings, life itself. The shockwave would crush structures miles away, killing and maiming countless people. And then...
Block people, oh my god, people can't talk anymore. Dude, shut the fuck up, stop bitching and moaning. You're not fucking special. Sit in the chat, talk all you want. Who gives a fuck? I put you in the corner because you acted like a dumb fuck. Don't cry about it, snowflake.
Comes the fallout. Radioactive poison spreading through the air, water, and soil, condemning survivors to agonizing deaths or lifelong suffering. A nuclear winter could follow, with smoke and ash completely blocking the sun, plunging the world into darkness and cold, killing crops and starving billions. Acid rain would scar the earth, wiping out entire ecosystems. This isn't some made-up science fiction story. This is the reality of what's at stake, what we are facing now. Because as we stand here today, closer to the brink of nuclear annihilation than ever before, political elite and warmongers are carelessly fomenting fear and tensions between nuclear powers. Perhaps it's because they are confident that they will have access to nuclear shelters for themselves and for their families.
You mean you, Tulsi? Do you mean you, bitch? You get to go to the bunker. I fucking don't.
That regular people won't have access to. So it's up to us, the people, to speak up and demand an end to this madness. We must reject this path to nuclear war and work toward a world where no one has to live in fear of a nuclear holocaust.
Fucking Christ. Makes more sense now.
Let's cross over now to CBS News foreign correspondent Ramy Inocencio with more on all of this. Ramy, what are you learning about the situation in Iran? We heard from Deb Pater that the Israelis have targeted the country's military leadership. So what has changed in Iran?
Sure, Errol. Well, I've been talking to Iranian and Israeli experts, and first off, they tell me that Iran just wasn't expecting this massive scope of Israel strikes, one of the most dramatic ones being this strike on Iranian state TV during a live broadcast yesterday. Take a look.
Allahu Akbar!
And that massive strike there, and that if the Ayatollah, who is 86 years old and supreme leader since 1989, isn't in deep hiding, well, he should be from all of those strikes. Take a listen to this.
It's focused on the top brass, military infrastructure, the nuclear program, oil and gas depots, and it's ongoing. So I think for them, I imagine Supreme Leader is currently unable to sleep and worried about whether he'll be alive or not.
And that's Iranian expert Holly Dagers at the Washington Institute. She also told me the Ayatollah has to be thinking about Israel taking out its regional proxies in the past, Hamas and Hezbollah. And their
quick recap of the morning for you. Sure. What do we have? Trump fled the G7 summit in Canada with no explanation, headed back to have an emergency meeting with his Joint Chiefs of Staff to decide whether or not to send B-2 bombers with bunker busters all the way over to Iran. That's all I've got for you right now.
Leaders like Yahya Sinwar and Hassan Nasrallah, but she says that the Ayatollah is really just the top of what she calls a replaceable regime. Here she is again.
The thing with the Islamic Republic is this isn't just one man and some generals. The Islamic Republic has something that's akin to the College of Cardinals, the Assembly of Experts, and they actually determine who gets to be supreme leader.
And that group of experts is made up of 88 clerics. One of them could replace the Ayatollah. It could also be one of the Ayatollah's sons. But let's say if there is regime change, then it doesn't guarantee actually that Iran's next government would be more friendly with the West. It could be Iran's religious regime could be replaced by a military dictatorship. For example, Iran's Revolutionary Guard Corps. Errol, basically change doesn't necessarily mean better.
And Rami, Israel can only accomplish so much from the air and without the U.S. getting involved. So what is the Israeli perspective?
Yeah, absolutely. The question is, what is the end game for Netanyahu?
Right.
Has Israel strikes on Iran's nuclear and missile sites evolved into an opportunity to break the regime? I spoke with former Israeli diplomat Alon Pinkas in Tel Aviv. He says Israel's attacks, all of them, no matter how hard they hit, won't be enough.
These kind of tensions that cause a regime to fall are usually internal, not external. A country of 10 million cannot precipitate a regime change in a country of 90 million, which is 1,800 kilometers away, just 1,100 miles away.
And there is Israeli support for Netanyahu, he says. He told me that there is support, but if it becomes a war of attrition, basically where Israel and Iran keep firing missiles at each other every day for future, then public opinion there in Israel could change quickly if more Israelis and if more Iranians die on both sides. Errol.
Precarious situation indeed. Rami Inocencio, great insight there. Thanks so much.
What's happening? We got a show for you tonight. My God! John Mulaney's going to be joining me later. Fresh off of his hit Netflix show, Squid Game. Yeah. First, but let me just say this to start off. Just to start off. Weekend. This weekend. Terrible. Again. I'm so sorry. Friday. We were in the office on Friday. We planned a very fun show. It was going to be light on. We were going to come out here, talk about little Kim Jong-Trump and his big military parade / quinceanera and how
real quick, mind you, not a single American flag in sight. Not one American flag in sight.
Parade / quinceanera and how it meant that we all live in North Korea now, and all the hyperbole of this massive display of American military power really butted up against what the parade actually was, which was this. Was that tank squeaking? We have $1 trillion budget for the military. Nobody's got WD-40. Nobody. Squeaky tank. Nobody can just go in there.
I think I have some good reposts on TikTok for today. What, that video was removed? One of my videos was removed.
In any other job,
Video has been removed. New strike added. You know what's funny is that video is entirely factually correct. You know what video it was? If you want to know why I fucking hate TikTok, this is why. This video. Trump has posted an ominous message on Truth Social saying everyone should evacuate Tehran now. He also said, like, I tried to stop Iran. I told them they should make a deal. So if you're in Tehran, get the fuck out of there now. Donald Trump doesn't really care about human life. So for him to say this means he has intel that something big is coming. Also, Donald Trump refused to sign a de-escalation plea between Israel and Iran at the G7. He's the only one that refused to sign it. What else? Benjamin Netanyahu said that we are on the brink of nuclear war. He said we are not in the 11th hour, we are in the 12th hour, and there is no 13th hour. That's what he said. He also said that the Iranians tried to assassinate Trump twice and him 3 times. He says that there are U.S. pilots shooting down Iranian missiles, so U.S. forces are already there. Oh, the U.S. sent the USS Tibbets, or whatever the fuck it's called, along with an entire strike group. We're at war. We're not going to war. We're at war. We're at war. We're at war with Iran, and MAGA will support it, because I've been watching Fox News. I've been seeing what Fox News is spoon-feeding them. Fox News is saying, we need to destroy Iran. We need to destroy Iran. And full video on YouTube covering it. Go check it out. Yeah, so that was pulled off of TikTok for authenticity and integrity, essentially saying that that's misinformation.
So make no mistake about it, we are at war with Iran right now. The United States of America is. Donald Trump has betrayed MAGA, betrayed America first. He has made the most disastrous decision to lead America into another war. Mm-hmm. Donald Trump telling him to come back to the negotiating table now is a joke. Yeah. I mean, what a impotent leader to be sitting there talking about coming back to the negotiating table. It's like sitting after Pearl Harbor and telling FDR, now's the time to go negotiate with the Japanese. Right. Negotiations are over now. The time for negotiations was before this. And so, yeah, Donald Trump looks, and man, I supported him this last year. I apologize for doing so. It was a bad calculation. At the time, it seemed like the right one. But he should be impeached and removed for this one. Wow. And so make no mistake about it, we are at war with a...
Look at this, too.
The UK, and we just signed a document. This is... Sorry about that. This is it. A very important document. A little windy out here. Give me that. We just signed it, and it's done. And so we have our trade agreement with the European Union, and it's a fair deal for both. The UK, and we just signed...
Dumb fuck.
It now looks increasingly likely that the U.S. is going to join Israel's war on Iran. Right, and that is that Nimitz aircraft carrier is traveling to the Middle East, where it will meet another carrier. Also, the U.S. sent 32 tankers across the Atlantic last night, with most of them amassing in Spain. Israel also reportedly formally asked the U.S. to join the war. You know, if the U.S. is entering into the war, this is what it would look like. The U.S. would likely be dropping bunker busters on Iran's underground nuclear facility because Israel lacks the capability. Right, in the past, we've seen the B-1 and B-2 travel continuously from Texas and Missouri and then enter the Mediterranean via the Strait of Gibraltar. The B-2 bombers will likely be carrying the massive ordnance penetrator, and that's 20 feet long and 30,000 pounds. At max, they can carry 2 each. In the B-1, it's not officially able to carry them. However, it would carry smaller bunker busters if they're used. And all of this is Israel's already established air superiority over Iran, so if the U.S. acts, it'll likely face little resistance. And as of right now, you have U.S. officials saying the movement of these tankers and the aircraft carrier, they're to give the U.S. more options in the Middle East. You also have the G7 releasing a joint statement saying that Iran must never have a nuclear weapon. However, Trump refused to sign it and called for Iran to re-enter nuclear talks. Though that is, Netanyahu has said that he won't entertain any nuclear talks with Iran and said he will kill Iran's supreme leader if he needs to. Though Iran has reportedly sent private messages to the U.S. and U.S. allies expressing a willingness to talk and a request for a ceasefire. And that is, the Iranian foreign minister called Netanyahu a war criminal and said that he has deceived previous American presidents into fighting his wars for him. But for now, follow to stay in the loop. It now looks increasingly like
Here's Tucker Carlson shitting on Fox News viewers.
does what they always do, which is just turning up the propaganda hose to full blast and just trying to, knock elderly Fox viewers off their feet and make them submit to a new war.
This one was funny.
If you're a man and you got FAFSA aid, you signed up for the draft. When you get your...
And he's true. He's true. If you got FAFSA aid, just so you understand, you are in the draft. You will be drafted. If you got FAFSA aid, you're going to get drafted.
For sure.
A joyous directive, John.
How's it feel to get arrested at 87? He said, I'm just beginning.
I'm just beginning, my friend.
Just beginning, okay.
I'm going to just get a little sleep, but I'm starting again.
Appreciate you.
Oh, wow, look at this.
This is the guy who was arrested. So I think Vietnam War veteran. He was arrested for protesting Trump.
Yeah,
we can give you a ride.
For sure.
A joyous...
Oh, and if you want to see the state of MAGA, here's the state of Trump supporters. I'm willing to bet so much money this guy's a cop. I'm willing to bet so much money this guy's a cop.
Why would you
What does that have to do with anything? Peacefully protesting.
White people. I want us to proliferate. It's awesome. Oh, Hitler.
What is FAFSA? FAFSA is financial aid for college. It's financial aid for college.
If you're watching Western media coverage of the Iran-Israel crisis, you might be witnessing a rather upside-down, topsy-turvy, bizarro view of the world, of reality. You're not being told everything. You're being given...
Completing the FAFSA does not automatically register you for the draft. I think it does. Oh, it no longer requires selective service registration. Never mind. So it used to. Whoopsie bo boopsie. I'm incorrect to see. Yeah, you're already registered, by the way. I know we're all already registered, but there's a bunch of guys who did not register, and then they got FAFSA, and they thought that they weren't going to be in the draft pool. I'm always right. I am always right. I'm always right. I've never been wrong. I've never been wrong.
Perceptions. For example, if you're watching Western media coverage, you might come away with the impression that Iran attacked Israel out of the blue and Israel is responding, when it's the other way around. We all saw on Thursday night that it was Israel that launched an illegal act of aggression against Iran. Iran is the victim here. Israel is the aggressor. But in
no, I was right. I said that signing up for FAFSA does not make you a draftee. I was correct, and I've always been correct.
In media coverage, Israel is the victim always. Some other points you may miss while watching Western media coverage. For example, Iran doesn't have nuclear weapons. Israel does. Iran is a signatory to the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty, the NPT. Israel isn't. Iran has allowed IAEA...
Do you guys want to see the funniest thing ever? Let me ask you. Does Israel have nuclear weapons? Let me ask you. Does Israel have nuclear weapons? Incorrect, Joseph. You are misremembering. Okay, now watch this. Israel is widely believed to possess nuclear weapons, although it maintains a policy of deliberate ambiguity, neither confirming nor denying its nuclear status. We don't even know. They are such shady fucking pieces of shit that they won't even confirm whether they have one or not. And we consider them an ally? We consider them an ally? Let me be very clear here. Israel is the enemy of humanity. Israel is the most dangerous fucking nation on planet Earth. They most resemble Nazi Germany out of any nation. Any nation. It's fucking insane.
We have some new CNN reporting on Iran's ability to develop a nuclear weapon. Israel has suggested that it had to act fast because Tehran was quickly approaching a point of no return in its nuclear weapons program. But sources tell CNN that U.S. intelligence assessments concluded something very different.
I know what fragging is, dude. My dad fought in Vietnam. He fragged many a motherfucker.
That Iran was not actively pursuing a nuclear weapon and was at least 3 years away. And this morning, the president is weighing in on this. So let's go live now to CNN White House reporter Elena Trine. Elena, walk us through this new back and forth on Iran's nuclear capabilities.
Yeah, well, there seems to be some daylight, Pamela, between what the U.S. intelligence community is saying regarding how far off Iran is from developing a usable nuclear weapon and what Israel is saying really to justify some of the attacks that we've seen them make toward Iran. Now, the president was
Thank you, Samuel K., for becoming a loyalist, and congratulations. You just got access to a bunch of new emojis and the Valenti Bros show, which is only available to members.
About this when he was flying back from Canada this morning back to Washington, and he was asked specifically about what his own Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, testified to in March, which is essentially that they were still far off from creating a viable nuclear weapon. Take a listen to what he told reporters.
How close do you wait. Did you guys see that? Hold on. Look at this. New reporting. My Pillow's Mike Lindell found guilty of defamation. Why is that just sitting there? Victor Nolan just became a loyalist. W. Victor. How do I sub? There should be a big button that says subscribe, but in order to become a member, Tenshi, you can't do it on an iPhone. Apple takes 30% of all purchases made on the Apple Store, so YouTube removed the join button on iPhones. If you want to become a member to the channel, one of my mods can drop you a link to become a member. If not, you're going to have to do it on a computer or an Android.
A viable nuclear weapon. Take a listen to what he told reporters.
How close do you personally think that they were to getting one? Because Tulsi Gabbard testified in March that the intelligence community said Iran wasn't building a nuclear weapon.
I don't care what she said. I think they were very close to having.
So pretty dismissive there when asked by our own CNN, Caitlin Collins, about this. I want you to take a listen, though, to what exactly Gabbard had said back in March. Listen.
The IC continues to assess that Iran is not building a nuclear weapon, and Supreme Leader Khamenei has not authorized the nuclear weapons program that he suspended.
Thank you, Nicholas, for becoming a loyalist. Congratulations.
In 2003. Iran's enriched uranium stockpile is at its highest levels and is
You're on a computer, Paula. There should be a button that says join.
Unprecedented for a state without nuclear weapons.
So, Pamela, the reason that this is so important, of course, is because it shows that the president seems to be more in line right now with what we are hearing from Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, using that to really justify.
How are you streaming now? Are you not at work? Brother, you're in my office right now. This is my office. This is my work. This pays my bills. You're in my office, dog.
That they are launching toward Iran, I should say, these unprecedented strikes that we have seen. Much more, hopefully, that we can learn today from what the president is doing behind closed doors, particularly in that upcoming meeting with his National Security Council in the Situation Room.
U.S. intelligence says, or certainly said in March, that that Iran was years away from racing towards a bomb. Take a listen to my colleague Zach Cohen reporting earlier.
Yeah, there appears to be some daylight between what the U.S. intelligence community sees as far as how far away Iran is from developing a usable nuclear weapon and what Israel has said in the aftermath.
Dude, the problem is that I don't trust American or Israeli intelligence. I don't trust either of them, so I don't know what to fucking believe. Who do you back up, Iran or shit Israel? Dude, I don't care about either of these nations. Certainly Israel is the aggressor. They are the one who bombed Iran first. But I think that the theocratic Islamic regime of Iran is dog shit. And I think that the theocratic Jewish regime of Israel is fucking dog shit. I don't support any theocratic nation. I don't support any ethno-states. I am an American. We believe in a separation of church and state. We are a secular society, and I will never support any nation that is a religious theocracy. Sorry, that's redundant. Any nation that is an ethno-state or a theocracy, I will just simply never support it.
Of those most recent airstrikes, which it is justified by saying there is an urgent threat posed by Iran's nuclear weapons program. And look, we're hearing from our sources that the U.S. intelligence community assessed prior to those Israeli strikes that Iran was not actively working towards a nuclear weapon. And what's more is if they had decided to do so, it would take up to 3 years before they were able to develop not only a nuclear bomb, but the delivery system that would be used to launch it toward a target of its choosing. And so that's a pretty extended timeline, especially when you compare it to the public statements made by Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and other Israeli leaders who have really framed Iran's nuclear program as an urgent threat, and again, saying that these strikes were needed to preempt that coming to fruition. And look, Donald Trump's Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, testified back in March that Iran was not actively working towards a nuclear weapon, and she said that the U.S. intelligence community could continue to assess that Iran was staying at the levels consistent under the threshold as dictated by the JCPOA. But take a listen to what Donald Trump said when he was asked earlier today about Gabbard's testimony from March.
How close do you personally think that they were to getting one? Because Tulsi Gabbard testified in March that
Chris, run for president? Don't worry, I'm making huge moves right now. I know somebody who's running for president, and I'm doing everything I can to stay on that motherfucker's hip as long as possible to ride those coattails.
the intelligence community said Iran wasn't building a nuclear weapon.
I don't care what she said. I think they were very close to having it.
Ali, what do you make of this?
Fuck Rand Paul.
It's stunning, Becky, that we have gone from manufacturing intelligence to go into wars in the Middle East to now ignoring intelligence in order to engage in wars in the Middle East. The reality is we knew that Iran, as a result of President Trump's decision to come out of the nuclear agreement in 2018, at Prime Minister Netanyahu's urging, Iran had made
Hassan
nuclear
can't run
advancements.
for president. He wasn't born in the United States.
And it would take Iran less
It's the
than
one goddamn thing I have over him. It's the one goddamn thing I have over him.
a week to enrich enough fissile material for a single nuclear weapon. But that is not a nuclear weapon.
My
That
thing is, I know I would fucking kill in a presidential debate because I know what the American people want, bro. If I was in a fucking debate with somebody and they said, well, and how do you plan on paying for that? I will literally, like, say you're the camera, right? They go, how do you plan on paying for that? And I go, by taking the billionaires' money from them. Fuck the billionaires! And everyone will cheer, and the guy will go, well, that's not a real plan. And I'll go, why? Are you afraid? Because you're a fucking billionaire? I'm taking your money, bitch! Like, verbatim, bro. I swear to God, if I was in a presidential debate, there would be a point where I looked at the camera and I said, my fellow Americans, if you have young children watching this, please cover their ears. 3, 2, 1. Fuck you. You're a fucking billionaire piece of shit. You don't give a fuck about the average American. All you've ever cared about is fattening your pockets and boosting your insider trading profit margins. You fucking hyper-capitalist pig. Verbatim, that would be what I said. Verbatim.
All right, Ali, let me just jump in because we are hearing sirens over Tel Aviv in Israel again.
Hassan was not born in New Jersey. Hassan was born in Turkey. Holy fuck, he was born in New Jersey. I thought this motherfucker was born in Turkey. Oh, he grew up in Istanbul. Oh. Fuck, I thought I had something on him. Shit. Well, I do have something on him. I was born in New York. And as we all know, New Jersey is the ugly stepson of the Northeast, okay? So I still got something on him.
Jump in for a moment.
Chris does need more coffee, Samantha. Chris does need more coffee. I'll be right back.
At 17 minutes past 5 in the afternoon, 5 days after Israel's initial attacks on Iran, early morning attacks, local time on Iran, as we work to get my colleague Nick Robertson up live for you in Tel Aviv. Ali, apologies for jumping in there. As we sit on these images, and it's important to sort of work out what is going on there over Israel. In a recent article for Time, you wrote, and I quote you here, "The question may be less a matter of whether diplomacy can succeed in all of this than how grievously the situation could escalate." You wrote, "The worst case scenarios are dire. A cycle of Israeli and Iranian counterstrikes that draw in the US, Iran's non-state allies, for what they're worth these days, and regional states." There is, of course, this, this narrative that says regime change at this point in Iran, and what that means going forward, what that looks like going forward. How do you see this conflict developing from here?
Well, look, we're climbing up the escalation ladder for sure. In terms of the conflict is expanding in terms of the type of targets that both sides are going to go after. It started with military nuclear sites, leadership sites in Iran, but is now expanding to infrastructure and energy sector as well. And eventually, if Iran retaliates in kind, I think it will create the kind of rattling of energy markets that could drag in the United States. Or if Iran continues to escalate its attacks on residential areas in Israel, eventually there will be American casualties as well, and that could drag the United States in, even if the president today decides that he's still going to give one last chance to diplomacy. So the more this continues and expands and escalates, the higher the risk that it turns into a fully fledged regional conflagration, which basically will have no winners.
Briefly, let me ask you, very specifically, what are you watching for next?
Look, at this moment, I think the most important question is what the United States would decide to do, is whether it decides to end this conflict or join it. That would really determine the fate of...
Well, you know what it is you guys made this. You guys made me. I wouldn't be here without my fans. Most, if not all of the money I make comes from you. I don't make deals with sponsors. I don't have funders. I don't do ad reads. I don't sell my fucking soul. The money I make is from you. It's from donations. It's not from a whole bunch of fucking workers that I take advantage of. It's not from a product that I sell. It's from you. So I feel like you guys are owed some respect. You know, you guys are owed a little bit of control over the whole operation.
Of the region and U.S. policy in the region. I think there is still a chance.
Assange's popularity confuses me. Chris here is twice as smart and has enough anger to keep someone like me engaged in his content. He's no Vosh, but there is only one Vosh. I don't know who the fuck Vosh is, but Hassan is very smart, dude. Hassan is very, very, very smart, and he's been in this field longer than I am. You know, he has earned his place in the marketplace of ideas.
For a diplomatic solution, but that requires President Trump to create distance from Israel and basically hold both Israel and Iran back in order to be able to get Iran back to the negotiating table.
No, I've never heard
but
of
he
Vosh.
does not.
Who the fuck is Vosh? I've never heard of this guy in my life. Don't do it. Who is he? What is he? What is he? What is he? He's a pedo? Who, what, where, when, why? I don't fucking know. I don't know who the fuck this is. And I don't give a shit, really. He's a debate bro? Ew. Ew. No views.
Let's bring in NBC's Monica Alba from the White House, international correspondent Matt Bradley from Tel Aviv, Israel. Also with us, PBS NewsHour co-anchor Jeff Bennett and Victor Cha from the Center for Strategic and International Studies. Thank you all for starting.
Just watch his content? No thanks. To be fair, my kid has learned more foul language from you than her own father was in the Navy for 8 years. New York, New York. Brother, when I was growing up, if my mother stubbed her toe, she would go, dick! She didn't yell, ow, or shit, or fuck. She yelled, dick. Bro, if something smells bad, my mom goes, oh, it smells like dick! Best way to learn is to watch the content or else you can't really judge. I'm not judging. I'm also a content creator. When I'm done making content, the very last thing I want to do is watch somebody else make content. It's different for me, bro. I don't want to sit here and consume YouTube videos when all day I sit here making YouTube videos. How you doing, Connor? The news is horrendous. Trump is having an emergency meeting with the Joint Chiefs of Staff considering sending B-2 stealth bombers to bomb the fuck out of Iran, which would officially make us like a main player in the war. We're already in the war, but we're assisting Israel. If we sent B-2 bombers to actually start delivering payloads, that's such a rapid escalation.
Human Watch putting the same stuff. Cool. Yeah, this video is so fucking lazy. This could have been an email.
In an interview with The Atlantic, Trump hit back at some of these critics, saying he is the one who came up with America First in the first place, so he gets to decide what it means. This is, I mean, we were just talking about peace, right? Like
fucking news.
It feels like he's a little bit at war with himself, because he said all the time, I mean, he wants to be known as the peacemaker, the deal maker, the guy who ends wars, and yet here he finds himself defending another war.
Well, I don't think Trump's defending the war. Trump's defending Israel's actions, and within a week or two, he's going to try to find an off-ramp to bring it to peace. And as for Tucker Carlson and Steve Bannon, they do not define what the MAGA or the conservative base is. There's two idiot conspiracy theorists. The base, the MAGA base, the conservative base, believe me, they're all behind Trump, and that's it. He's the one that calls the shots.
Oh, I love Al Jazeera.
On what kind of defines that MAGA base. And he's not trying to get us into a war. He's trying to get us out of that war. And yes, and he understands the political ramifications.
Yeah, no, Trump did not coin the term America First. That was Ronald Reagan.
Goes too long if it doesn't work out. So that's why I think he's back in D.C. doing everything they can to kind of cut a deal to end this within a couple of weeks.
Than the governor's given credit for.
William?
I think that this is really a divisive issue within MAGA. I don't think everyone in MAGA is saying, okay, we're with Trump on this. I think there are a good number of high-profile MAGA figures who are saying, this is not what we signed up for. Now, does that mean they're going to stop supporting Donald Trump? No. Yeah. But it means that on this issue, we're seeing a fracture that we have not seen up to this point within MAGA world. And that is a big deal.
I mean, Trump is supposed to have broken with the neocons of the world who, the Lindsey Grahams.
You guys know who coined the make blank great again, right? Whether it's America or any other nation. You guys know who created that one, right? You guys know who coined that term? Hitler. 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 It's not Reagan, it's Hitler. Make Germany great again was Adolf Hitler's slogan. Make Germany great again was Adolf Hitler's slogan. Where's the proof? I'll pull it up for you right now. Hitler used the phrase, where is it? Yeah, Hitler used the slogan, make Germany great again. BBC.
So Hitler promised jobs to everybody. And of course people needed jobs. That was exactly what they wanted to hear.
Hitler promised the people everything they wanted. He promised them a bright future. He promised them work. He promised them Lebensraum, living space.
Hitler was a powerful, mesmerizing speaker.
People were taken by Hitler's speech not so much by the beauty of his arguments, but by his sheer fanaticism, by his anger, by his rage, and his repetitive rhetoric. And people, eyewitness accounts, describe it as a barbaric, primitive effect.
What he was telling people was a disaster, but the performance he delivered was a big artistic show.
He repeated a lie endlessly, and he didn't make it a small lie, he made it a big lie. and he kept hammering it into their heads. He also dumbed it down as much as possible.
His simplistic promises were made to order for his political base. More prosperity and expanded borders for more room in which to live, or Lebensraum.
Fascism is perceived as a strong movement with simple answers for complicated problems.
Giving simple answers and simple solutions, that's exactly what people wanted to hear, because that gave them the hope that it will change soon, not in 10 years, but now.
He blamed Germany's problems on scapegoats like Jews and communists. Fears that the communist revolution in Russia would spread to Germany. People were singing Deutschland, Deutschland über alles. Germany, Germany above all the world. And they trusted Hitler to take them there.
This is the saddest part, dude. That's the saddest part.
Above all the world. And they...
The kids, bro. The kids. This is what Trump wants. This is why Trump is destroying the Department of Education. He wants the kids, bro. This is how you create the next generation of American fascists.
Who are pushing for the U.S. to get involved, and I think that there's a feeling
You're insane? No, bro. I'm the only one who's willing to say the truth, which is that Trump is a fascist, and he wants to create a Trump youth program.
Betrayal here. Marjorie Taylor Greene, another one of these very close Trump supporters, big backers of his, says anyone slobbering for the U.S. to become fully involved in the Israel-Iran war is not America First MAGA. You know, they're putting a line down, and Trump is being forced to make a choice.
Yeah, but we just saw a little clip. I don't know if you asked Steve Bannon straight up. You think Iran should have nuclear capabilities? I'm pretty sure he would say no.
No, he doesn't. But he doesn't want the U.S. to be involved in the fight.
Okay, but unless the U.S. is involved, we may have a big problem. And the other thing, Abby, I think it may be a little naive not to recognize Donald Trump is born and raised.
I didn't think fascists love money like he does. Are you stupid? The fascists are the most hyper-capitalist people on planet Earth. What do you think the fucking Nazis were? Oh my God, I bet he thinks they were socialist. Do you think Nazi Germany was socialist? Oh no. Oh God. He probably does. Get the chart? I ain't pulling up the fucking chart, bro. In this day and age, that's what my history book said. Bro, no, they didn't. Your history book said they were fascist. Do you mean that because the name of their party was the National Socialists, which was literally intentional because everybody in Germany was voting for the Socialist Party, the DSP, and the Communist Party. So the Nazis adopted the word socialism in order to bring in more voters, and then they didn't pass a single socialist policy and adopted fucking hyper-capitalist fascism. Who said anything about Germany? I'm talking about Trump. No, but you said I didn't think fascists love money like he does. And the most famous fascists in history are the Nazis, and the Nazis were extremely capitalist. They love money. So why would you think that a fascist doesn't care about money when throughout history they always have?
The New Yorker, surrounded by Jewish people, more Jewish people than anywhere else.
I thought they were socialists. No, they weren't. They used the name socialist. Here. Oh, God. Were the Nazis actually socialist? I was going to say no. They adopted the name in order to fool people, but no, they were not socialists. Historians widely agree that the Nazis were not socialists in the conventional sense of the word. In fact, they were vehemently anti-socialist. Dude, they look. They used the name. This has been relentlessly studied for almost 100 years. The rise of socialism and communism in Germany was a direct threat to the fascists, and they realized that because capitalism had failed so miserably after the end of World War I, hyperinflation, the Great Depression, capitalism had failed so miserably that the German populace was turning towards socialism and communism. Well, the fascists, they couldn't have that. So what they did was they labeled their own fascist capitalist regime as the National Socialist Party in order to convince the average German worker to come to their side, believing they were socialist. Then, as soon as the Nazis had power, they burnt down their own Reichstag and claimed that the socialists did it, and began rounding up and killing all of the socialists, all of the communists, all of the Jews, the blacks, the gays, anybody and everybody, even the fucking Catholics, dog. They rounded up everybody who did not support the supreme leader.
States of America. His daughter is now Jewish. His grandchildren are Jewish. All his good friends are Jewish. And this, as you just reported, there's thousands, tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of Americans in Israel. So it would just be a dereliction of duty if he didn't step in and protect American interests. We have military interests there. We have human being interests there and cultural interests there. They're the only democracy in that area. We need them to stay a democracy.
Look, though, he was just in the Arab world. He's got a lot of friends there.
Did he just call Israel a democracy? Hold on. When did Bibi Netanyahu become prime minister? Oh. So in 1996, he became prime minister. It's weird because in most democracies, you don't have the same leader for 30 fucking years. And you want to claim Israel is a democracy? Are you fucking insane?
There too. They just gave him a $400 million jet from Qatar. So I think a lot of people voted for Donald Trump because he told America that Joe Biden and the Democrats were going to lead to World War III. He said that he was going to end wars on day one. Certainly, he said that about the Ukraine war. I think that and Ukraine-Russia war. I think that once he got in there, he's realized.
The capitalist's main playbook is to accuse your enemy of exactly what you're doing while you are doing it. That is the capitalist #1 favorite play, okay? Which is like, for example, they'll say, in communist China, they keep a social credit score. We have that here.
It's not as easy as he thought, that just by the fact that he swore in, things are not going to end and things are not going to change. I think it's difficult for the MAGA world that there's a faction of it that is very isolationist and doesn't want us to be involved in anything.
We do?
To accept.
Yeah! Avocado! Do you think you can buy a house with low credit score? Do you think you can just go buy a home if you have dog shit credit? Because you can't. You can't.
That this is the reality of being the leaders of the free world if we are still that.
Yeah, I mean.
You see, when you're transactional all the way down, my dear brother, it means that you have only permanent interests, no permanent friends, no permanent enemies even. It's like Thrasymachus in Plato's Republic. You just go through the world believing you can have transactional relations with everybody.
Dude, this guy's fucking scaring me.
It's a very sad way of being in the world, but that's not what we're talking about right now. Which means that any minute he could betray any group.
But when you're president of the United States, don't you have those types of relationships all over the globe, from North Korea to Iran to...
But he, as governor, you had...
This guy just said Iran. All you need to know about somebody when it comes to their political prowess is how they pronounce Iran. If somebody like this bald fucker says Iran, stop listening to them. They don't know what the fuck they're talking about. If you can't pronounce the name of the country you're talking about, I don't give a fuck what your opinion is.
To have some integrity, it's not reducible to transactional.
I only got.
Is that true? Am I right?
True. Look, I had relationships with everybody. And I think Trump's approach is, look, to make sure we're protecting America's interests. I think to Arthur's point exactly, it is in our interest to make sure, and it's in everyone's interest to make sure there's nothing nuclear in Iran, and that is very much an American.
And he said it too. Disregard everything that man says now.
Netanyahu made it very explicit. He said it's America first, not America dead, essentially. I mean, that's pretty stark.
Yeah, but I think we have to ask the question, how involved is the U.S. actually? I mean, my understanding is, yes, the U.S. has been involved in assisting in knocking down some missiles that have been coming into Israel. Is that significant? Yeah. Does that mean that the U.S. is at war with Iran?
Yes.
No. Does it mean?
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. So here, U.S. pilots are in the air shooting down Iranian missiles. That means that if an Iranian, soldier or pilot saw that American jet, they would be in their full right to shoot him down. So if one of our boys gets shot out of the fucking sky and he pulls his chute and he's taken hostage by the fucking Iranians, like what happened to our guy Nunez during the Vietnam War, the first ever American prisoner shot down and taken prisoner by the Vietnamese, are you still gonna claim that we're not at war? Really? You're really gonna do that when our boys are at risk of being fucking kidnapped?
That the U.S. is providing bunker busters to get rid of Iranian nuclear facilities? No. And so I think it's an overstatement to say, oh, the U.S. is now involved with it. This is going to be the end of the U.S. empire, American empire, as Tucker Carlson said. I mean, the U.S.'s involvement at this point has been pretty minimal.
And it's about in line with the U.S.'s involvement in these conflicts vis-a-vis Israel over the many decades. So yeah, you're right.
America
it's an
first,
overreaction.
not America dead. He wasn't referring to America playing dead. He was referring to today it's they're bombing Tel Aviv. Tomorrow there could be nuclear.
It's the threat of nuclear annihilation.
Trump called up Netanyahu and said, I do not want you to do X. And Israel did it. He would be humiliated, just like Biden, just like Obama, just like Bush. And the involvement of American Israel is already so inseparable, right? You got the Hellfire missiles. That's just the peak of an iceberg. You've got the facilitating of the military equipment. And look what happened in Gaza. My God, they couldn't have done.
I mean, and the truth is none of this.
If Iran sees America shooting down the rockets, that is the equivalent of an attack. Yes, Iran already said that they're going to strike U.S., French, and UK facilities if we keep on shooting down their missiles. They already said it.
Well, welcome to the 700 Club. Thousands of people are fleeing the capital of Iran after President Trump issued this warning: evacuate Tehran.
Israel is sending the same message as it expands its air attacks against the regime. And now Iran reportedly wants the fighting to stop. Chris Mitchell has the details from Jerusalem.
By the way, guys, that video that was pulled from TikTok, it just got put back up. MAGA is all... They did this to my last account. The way that they got my 3 million follower account banned was by reporting me 17,000 times in 4 weeks. That's directly from my contact at TikTok in California. Okay? They're going to be doing the exact same thing, and this is because all MAGA supporters are fascists, and they want their ideological opponents to be completely silenced. Fucking pathetic, servile dogmen.
As he left Canada, Trump wrote on Truth Social, Iran should have signed the deal I told them to sign. Simply stated, Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. Everyone should immediately evacuate Tehran. A massive exodus of people are fleeing Iran's capital as
that
Israeli
account is gone
officials
forever, William.
Also urged thousands of people in Tehran on Monday to evacuate ahead of airstrikes. There are reports Iran is sending urgent signals to end the war and resume nuclear talks if the U.S. does not join the fight. Talking to ABC News, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said he doesn't see signs Iran is serious about ending the war.
Well, we're going to see if Iran is serious about dismantling their nuclear program, dismantling their missile capacity, dismantling the terror.
All right, let's start getting some links together to make a video. So, Trump, B-2 bombers, Iran. So we got the New York Times. Let's get Trump asked about it. W stream so far. Yeah, massive W stream so far.
As a chick.
Let's get Trump's truth up. There's a lot of people in here. Yeah, guys, listen, if you're new here, hi, how are you? I'm Chris Valenti. I'm a douchebag from New York with a bachelor's degree and a major in history and a minor in political science. I wrote my college thesis on the rise of fascism in Germany in the 1920s and 30s. There's nothing I hate more than fascists. They do not deserve air, okay? If you're new here, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. And if you want to support me financially, because I have no sponsors, I have no funding, I've never done an ad read, I've never talked to a billionaire or a government or any of that shit. This is what real independent media actually looks like. If you want to support the channel, you can donate to the channel. You can become a member here on YouTube. You can become a patron on Patreon. You can buy merch, and you can use the 40% off discount code for the Vantage subscription on Ground News, located in the description below. We're so close to 70K. Let's get there. Yeah, dude. Listen, every 10K is a huge milestone. If we hit 100K, that will change the game. That will give this community validity. We get that fucking YouTube play button on the wall, and we show these MAGA rats that we are 100,000 strong and building, and we are one microcosm of the OAL, the only Americans left. Fuck Donald Trump. Truly believe President Trump is doing the right thing in the America, the big beautiful bill. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Thank you for the $5 donation. Just don't forget Whittle Olos when you make it big. How could I possibly forget the very giants that are holding me up on their back? I am not the giant. You are the giant. You are an amalgamation of people forming a giant holding me up. It's not me, it's you. Okay. Let's see what other breaking news there is. Can we get a trans rights? Trans rights are human rights. Missing space, $20. I expect a reimbursement after you make it to office. I've paid you quite a bit. Don't worry. You'll get I'll give you the Joint Chief of Staff position. How does that sound? I think you just got proposed to. That'd be great. That'd be great. But yeah, guys, trans rights are human rights. That doesn't fucking... You don't need a genius to fucking figure that out. Are trans people human? Are they human? Yeah? then they deserve rights. What? Why do you need your streamers to say blank rights? I know, it's fucked. It's fucked, bro. It's so fucked. What would your cabinet look like? The Justice League. Wrong pipe. Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. Oof, wrong pipe. Wrong pipe. Sorry. Whew. Look at my eyes now. Fucking Donald Trump did that. God damn it, Donald. Where are you? Where the fuck is he? Donnie? Donnie? Oh, Donnie. Totally kidding. That's crazy. He's in the walls. He's in the goddamn walls! As a trans person, this stream is one of the few things that still gives me hope. Brother, I just want Grounded 2 before I get nuked. And also, I can assure you, and I've talked about this with my family, I live in the blast zone. I will not survive. So if we get the notification, I can't even get out in time. So if we get that notification, I will be live. I will be live, bro. And you will just see the brightest light. And I'll just strip down. I'll just get fucking naked. I'll go, what are you going to do? You going to ban me? You going to ban me? You going to ban me now? Like, what are we talking about? Live too close to an important military base? Brother, I could see... Get the Manhattan skyline out that fucking window, dog. Chicago, Chicago. We're outside the blast radius, I checked. Nelson Mandela, my boy. You think you are privy to the payload of whatever bomb they're going to send to New York? You think you're privy to that information? Trying to be optimistic? Brother, if you wanted to be optimistic, you would be hoping that we're in the blast zone. Are you out of your fucking mind? Brother, the best thing that could possibly happen is being in the fucking blast zone. Not trying to fearmonger people. Yeah, I unfortunately, because of this man, not because of me. The fuck did I do? Oh. Please get out of New York City. Nah. Red, white, and blue, bitch. These colors don't run. Now listen, I fucking hate Israel, okay? But you gotta be out of your fucking mind if you think I'm afraid of an Iranian. An Iranian? Brother, the only thing that scares me are spiders, okay? New Yorkers don't leave New York unless it's a vacation. Dog, New Yorkers vacation in New York. Who else can attest to that? When I go on vacation, I don't leave New York. New York is the only city that matters on planet Earth. No city matters other than New York City. That's it. We are the literal heartbeat of planet Earth. Other groups said privilege. Other groups with said privilege are Vietnam and the concept of dignity. Wait, what? As a Canadian, I disagree with the statement. These colors don't run. Other groups with said privilege are Vietnam and the concept of dignity. I don't know what you mean by that. I'm sorry. Yeah, L-Job, I know. Why are you spamming that in all caps? Are you okay? See, most people, a couple hours late, just became a member for 3 months. Thank you. Delicate balance of pieces dangling by a thread. Most people don't understand that you can drive for 8 hours in New York and still be in New York. Like, people who aren't from New York, do you understand that? I could drive for 8 hours and I will still be in New York. Dude, most foreigners do not understand the sheer size of the United States. They don't understand it. I'm British. I drive for 3 hours and I'm in a different country. Yeah. Yeah, dude. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. The sun never sets on the British Empire. Meanwhile, a 3-hour drive and you're in France. Anyway. All right. We've got a video now. We've got a video now. $5 donation. I'll send another $25 if you debut my anti-Trump anthem. It's called Fuck Around, Find Out. That motherfucker is the Antichrist. Oh, where is it? Renaissance man, where is it? Where can I find it? How do I get it to you? The fuck do you mean? Post it somewhere. Brother, what do you mean? Post it somewhere and I'll pull it up. You telling me you haven't even posted it? How am I supposed to watch it? Thought maybe a direct link. I don't know. Brother, post it on YouTube, dog. Post it on YouTube. Forgive me, I'm old. I forgive you, sweet boy. I forgive you. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to sound rude. I'm just from New York, which means I'm a douche. That's how this works. All right. We've got a video to make. We've got a video to make. The Antichrist isn't real. He's a fascist. Here's the thing. If the Antichrist was real, it's Donald Trump. I Love Penguin says, I'd love to see a rabbit hole about Stonewall. Oh, I can make one. We're back to rabbit hole this Saturday. All right. I'm going to fill up my coffee and then we're going to make this video. Been missing rabbit hole. Check Donnie's Truth Social 6 minutes ago. We now have complete and total control over the skies over Iran. Iran had good sky trackers and other defensive equipment and plenty of it, but it doesn't compare to American-made, conceived and manufactured stuff. Stuff. What a fucking dipshit. Nobody does it better than the good old USA. Stuff. Stuff. Get this fucking guy out of the Oval Office. I'm getting coffee. Nice. Oh, Jesus Christ. Find another journalist that will do that. Point me to the fucking TikTok streamer journalist that will walk on frame and fucking fart on the mic. Point me to him. Anyway, let's make this video. All right, you guys ready? All right, here we go. Humana, 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 humana.
Red leather, yellow leather. Red leather, yellow leather. Red leather, yellow leather. Red leather, yellow leather. Shit, piss, cunt, motherfucker, goddamn. Some dumb bitch done stole my man. I'ma get another fucker better than that motherfucker. Shit, damn motherfucker, cunt, goddamn. All right, I think my dictation is good. Okay? My enunciation. Hi there. Trump is having an emergency meeting with his cabinet and joint chiefs of staff to decide whether or not to send B-2 bombers equipped with bunker-busting Moabs all the way over to Iran and bomb the ever-loving fuck out of their nuclear facilities in Fordo. Now, in Fordo, Iran, their nuclear facilities aren't like out in the open. They are buried deep within the mountains. And the Israelis claim that they don't have the capability of destroying those. I mean, the Israelis have nuclear weapons, so they do have the capability. But instead, they are making a desperate plea with King Doland of the United States of America, begging him to send our $2 billion per B-2, 19 B-2s, each one capable of carrying 16 nuclear weapons. This is the end. Like, dude, what? Hi, I'm Chris Valenti, and welcome to the Valenti VOD. We've got some stuff to discuss regarding World War III, and despite the fact that American forces are already involved in Iran, we have confirmation that American pilots are flying F-35s, shooting down Iranian drones. Even though we already know American forces are involved, Trump is considering going full throttle and actually going to war with Iran. We have a lot to cover today, but before we do, hi, I'm Chris Valenti. Welcome to the Valenti VOD. I'm a douchebag from New York. I majored in history and minored in political science, and I wrote my college thesis on the rise of fascism in Germany in the 1920s and 30s. There's nothing I fucking hate more than a fascist. And I do everything that I can to make sure that this nation stops its rapid descent into fascism. If you support me, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. And if you want to help the channel financially, because this is real independent media and I have no funding, please become a member, become a patron, donate money, buy some of this dope-ass Valenti Videos merch down below, and use the 40% off discount code for Ground News, located in the description below. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. Trump's Iran choice, last chance diplomacy or a bunker-busting bomb? Iranian officials have warned that U.S. participation in an attack on its facilities will imperil any chance of the nuclear disarmament deal the president insists he is still interested in pursuing. President Trump is weighing a critical decision in the 4-day-old war between Israel and Iran. Whether to enter the fray by helping Israel destroy the deeply buried nuclear enrichment facility at Fordo, which only America's biggest bunker buster, dropped by American B-2 bombers, can reach. If he decides to go ahead, the United States
will become a direct participant in a new conflict in the Middle East. Taking on Iran is exactly the kind of war Mr. Trump has sworn in 2 campaigns that he would avoid. You were born too late to go to the Middle East, and then you were born too early to go to the Middle East. Turns out, you were born just in time to go to the Middle East. It's our favorite fucking sandbox. You know, and I have an interesting proposition here, and I'm curious, let me know in the comments down below if you agree with this. You need Congress to approve a declaration of war, and I firmly believe that every single congressman or congresswoman who votes yes to a war with Iran should be forced to send their children or grandchildren into the front lines. If they are military age and you vote, yes, let's send American boys and girls to go fight and die to defend Israel, you, congressman, should be forced to send your 17-year-old Nepo baby at fucking Colgate University to put on a fucking rig, grab a goddamn M27, and ship his shit to fucking Tehran. And if you think that's controversial, but we shouldn't do that, then don't send my nephew. How about that, motherfucker? How about what? Let's put the cherry on top. If we go to war with Iran, I want Barron Trump dragged by his fucking ear to the front lines. Send Barron. Send Barron. Send Trump's fucking granddaughter. What the fuck is her name? The one that they always parade around and then MAGA makes weird fucking sexual puns about a child. Send that one too. It's fucking insane. Oh. Iranian officials have already warned that U.S. participation in an attack on its facilities will imperil any remaining chance of the nuclear disarmament deal that Mr. Trump insists he is still interested in pursuing. Mr. Trump had at one point encouraged his Middle East envoy, Steve Witkoff, and possibly Vice President James Donald Bowman, that's his real fucking name, by the way, James Donald Bowman, and possibly Vice President J.D. Vance to offer to meet the Iranians, according to a U.S. official. But on Monday, Mr. Trump posted on social media that, quote, everybody should immediately evacuate Tehran. Hardly a sign of diplomatic process. Mr. Trump also said on Monday that, quote, I think Iran basically is at the negotiating table. They want to make a deal. He's so fucking stupid. He's so fucking stupid. You think that the Iranians are ready to make a deal despite the fact that the lead negotiator was blown up? Despite the fact that the Israelis have bombed the ever-loving fuck out of you, you think now they're willing to come to the negotiating table? Are you out of your fucking mind? Mind you, this is Donald Trump, notoriously the worst businessman in America. Notoriously a fucking fraud. This dumb, fat, orange fucking fascist bankrupted 2 Ninos. Do you know how fucking difficult it is to bankrupt a casino? It's almost impressive. Not to mention Trump Steaks and Trump University and now Trump Mobile. Oh my God, Trump Mobile. Sponsored by Palantir. Me when I let fucking Palantir bend me over a barrel and fuck me into submission. Are you out of your fucking mind? Now, real quick, for people who don't know what a B-2 bomber is, we're going to pull this up. This is the wiki for you. Let me turn off chat to show you a picture here. Where is chat box? There's chat box. Bang. Okay, here's the B-2 Spirit. And I gotta admit, it's fucking cool. This is my main problem with covering war, is like, listen, man, war is bad, but the equipment is so cool! Fuck! Oh, Jesus. The Northrop B-2 Spirit
also known as the stealth bomber, is an American heavy strategic bomber featuring low observable stealth technology designed to penetrate dense anti-aircraft defenses. A subsonic flying wing with a crew of 2, the plane was designed by Northrop, later Northrop Grumman, as the prime contractor with Boeing, Hughes, and Vought as principal subcontractors and was produced from 1988 to 2000. The bomber can drop conventional and thermonuclear weapons, such as up to 8,500-pound class Mark 82 JDAM GPS-guided bombs, or 16 2,400-pound B-83 nuclear bombs. 1.2 megatons, bro. Oh my God, bro. 1.2 megatons, and this thing can carry fucking 16 of them. And we have 19 of these things. That's 320 nuclear bombs. Each one is over a fucking megaton, and that makes the bomb in Hiroshima look like a fucking frag grenade, bro. The bomb in Hiroshima wasn't even a fucking megaton. I mean, oh! Dio dame serenità di eccitare il costo ci non posso cambiare, il coraggio di cambiare il costo ci posso, le sarchezze di capire nella differenza. Oh, fuck. Meanwhile, look at this. Look at Fat Fubi Dementia Donnie. We now have complete and total control over the skies of Iran. Iran had good sky trackers and other defensive equipment, and plenty of it, but it doesn't compare to American-made, conceived, and manufactured stuff. Nobody does it better than the good old USA. Stuff. 79-year-old, most powerful man on planet Earth, by the way. Stuff. What a fucking idiot. And then look at this, bro. Look at this. Oh my God. Yo, this shit made me fucking tweak. Mr. President, God spared you in Butler, Pennsylvania to be the most consequential president in a century, maybe ever. And the decisions on your shoulders I would not want to be made by anyone else. You have many voices speaking to you, sir, but there's only one voice that matters. His voice. I am your appointed servant in this land, and am available for you. But I do not try to get in your presence often because I trust your instincts. No president in my lifetime has been in a position like yours. Not since Truman in 1945. I don't reach out to persuade you, only to encourage you. I believe you will hear from heaven, and that voice is far more important than mine or anyone else's. You sent me to Israel to be your eyes, ears, and voice, and to make sure our flag flies above our embassy. My job is to be the last one to leave. I will not abandon this post. Our flag will not come down. You did not seek this moment. This moment sought you. It is my honor to serve you. Mike Huckabee. These motherfuckers want a holy war. And why do I know that? Because Lindsey Graham said he wants a holy war. Like, he verbatim said it. Let me see if I can pull up that clip. Like, he verbatim said it. Lindsey Graham, holy war.
State of Israel forever by replacing this regime with something better. And I do believe the biggest winner of the Ayatollah leaving would be the Iranian people. So pray for our troops in harm's way. There are risks associated with any operation. They join the military to keep their country safe and to make the world a better place. And taking on the Ayatollah does both. To our friends in Israel, we have your back. We're praying for success.
Who's we, Lindsey? Who's fucking we? Because I don't have their goddamn back. Why don't you go over there and protect them, Lindsey?
This, you've tolerated too much too long into the world. You have normalized trying to kill the Jews. When Israel's attacked, nobody says a word about it. If France were attacked, what would the French do? What would we do? So the days of expecting Israel to sit on the sidelines and not go to the heart of the beast are over. Take this regime down, make the world a better place.
Jesus Christ. Oh, anyway, let's get some live updates. Updated 33 minutes ago. Let's refresh. Updated 2 minutes ago. What's the recent update? Here's the latest. Israel claimed it had killed another senior Iranian military... Oh, 2 new updates. Let me see. All right, 2 minutes ago. The Fars news agency, an outlet affiliated with the Revolutionary Guards, reported a cyber attack on a major Iranian bank. Come on. What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? You are playing into the Nazis' fucking playbook. Trump Truth Social now? Don't tell me he fucking posted again while I was reading his fucking post. You can't do this to me. 40 seconds ago? 40 seconds ago? We know exactly where the so-called supreme leader is hiding. He is an easy target, but is safe there. We are not going to take him out, kill. At least not for now, but we don't want missiles shot at civilians or American soldiers. Our patience is wearing thin. Thank you for your attention to this matter. What? Am I the first one in this nation to cover this? Am I the first person in this nation to cover this tweet? Who? Who? What? Oh my God. Ah! The report said that the bank supported some fuel stations and warned that the hack could cause disruptions at some gas stations in the coming hours. Online reports and voices from the ground indicated that there have been at least some problems across the country with accessing accounts online or at ATMs. You're telling me the Israelis are stealing money? Come on! I'm doing my best here, man! Why? Why? Oh, fucking shit. The UN nuclear watchdog said on Tuesday that it had identified direct impacts on the underground enrichment halls at the Iranian nuclear site at Natanz after Israel targeted the facility with missiles last night. The watchdog body, the IAEA, initially said that the attack had destroyed the above-ground part of the fuel enrichment plant, including its electricity infrastructure, but its latest statement reflected an assessment of more significant damage. So we've already got everybody is fleeing Tehran. Our boy Sina is probably in one of these cars. He's a chatter who's in Iran. He's in Tehran, actually. Oh, meanwhile, Trump did a fucking interview on Air Force One, and it's just...
Good time? Reasonable. How about you? I did. I always have a good time.
I always have a good time. I had a great time.
Hello. Hi, Jennifer.
You just posted right before we took off that you're not leaving because of a ceasefire. Why are you? Can you elaborate?
We're looking at better than ceasefire.
Trump's going to call out
for a ceasefire. I didn't say I was looking for a ceasefire. That was Emmanuel. Nice guy.
Wait. We got to go back. Trump's going to call out Chris by name eventually. This Chrissy guy keeps talking about me. I think he loves me. You know, he's a very handsome fella, but a wacko. Unfortunately, you know, I'm just not the best for him. He doesn't like me very much. He doesn't like Trump.
Hello. Hi, Jennifer.
You just posted right before we took off that you're not leaving because of a ceasefire. Why are you? Can you elaborate?
We're looking at better than ceasefire. We're not looking for a ceasefire. I didn't say I was looking for a ceasefire. That was...
Yeah, he refused to sign the G7 joint statement asking for a ceasefire. Donald Trump, King Doland, most powerful man on planet Earth, President of the United States,
was the only member at the G7 who refused to sign a ceasefire deal between Israel and Iran. He posted again. No, he fucking didn't. No, he didn't. Oh, no. No. Unconditional surrender. Dude, again, we're going to do, like, imagine Trump with a megaphone, and it sounds like this. He just sticks his head out of the fucking window of the Oval and just goes, unconditional surrender. Surrender. What the fuck? Bro, are you taking a shit right now? Are you taking a shit?
Emmanuel, nice guy, but he doesn't get it right too often. But we're not looking. We're looking for better than a ceasefire.
You're looking to get into this more. You're not going to involve the U.S. in this conflict at this stage. You're going to do anything more for Israel right now?
We're doing pretty well right now. We're doing pretty well.
What sort of answer was that? You're the president, bro. Hold on.
Involve the U.S. in this conflict at this stage. You're going to do anything more for Israel right now?
You're going to do more for Israel right now? You're the president. You're the president of the United States. You're the president.
We're doing pretty well right now. We're doing pretty well. Remember, Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. It's very simple. We don't have to go too deep into it. They just can't have a nuclear weapon.
What was the thinking on the call for Tehran to evacuate? Is there a threat or is there incoming? What was the thinking on the full evacuation?
I want people to be safe. And that's always possible. A thing like that could happen. I just want people to be safe.
Is there any new concern about U.S. troops?
Quiet? Sorry, I was whispering. I was whispering. Yes, I was.
Or assets in the region at all today?
We have great people. They know how to protect themselves.
And when you say
from a nuke?
Better, what specifically do you
mean? So hard if they do anything to our people. We'll come down so hard, then the gloves are off so beautifully.
We'll come down so hard, the gloves will come off so beautifully. Beautiful for who, Donnie? Beautiful for the Iranian mother who's going to watch her daughter get blown up. Beautiful for the 8-year-old boy in Tel Aviv who's going to get blown to smithereens. Beautiful for the 17-year-old American who's going to go get shot in the stomach and die while crying for his mother in the fucking desert. Beautiful for you who's got billions of dollars invested in Lockheed Martin and Northrop Grumman and weapons manufacturing. Beautiful for the Republican and Democrat congressmen and congresswomen who practice insider trading and are going to make a profit off of this war. That's what you meant. That's what you meant, you draft-dodging fat fuck.
No,
By the way, Donnie, your fucking makeup is leaking off your face.
I think they know not to touch our troops.
Are you sending the vice?
But our troops are ready.
When you say
Do you
better,
want to send the vice president and Steve Witkoff? There's reports that you want to send the vice president and Steve Witkoff to meet with the Iranians and have discussions. Is that something you're considering?
Not sure yet. I may. Depends on what happens when I get back.
what specifically is better than a ceasefire? What are you looking for here?
Complete and total destruction. An end.
Real end, not a ceasefire.
A real end, not a ceasefire. So complete and total destruction of Iran, the dismantling of the Iranian regime.
And so something that will be permanent.
Yeah, or giving up entirely. That's okay too.
Are you close there? Is that possible in the next 24, 48 hours?
Are you close there? Look at his brother, this is the president.
Giving up entirely.
Watch this.
That's okay too.
Are you close there? Is that possible in the next 24, 48?
Are you close, sir? He doesn't give a fuck. And do you want to know why he doesn't give a fuck? Because no matter what happens, he's going to be fine. His family's going to be fine. What do you think? In global thermonuclear war, The president is gonna die? Are you out of your mind? They got a bunker in Colorado for fucking everybody who's important. It's just you and I who are gonna die.
48 hours?
Certainly possible. Complete.
He just said our troops are ready. He posted again? He's got to be taking a shit. No, he hasn't posted again. Okay.
Give up. That's possible, yeah.
Has the chairman of the Joint Chiefs and the Secretary of Defense drawn up plans for you if Iran were to attack U.S. bases or do any damage to U.S. bases?
I just can't tell you.
Can I ask you, because there's been some skepticism, is there any guarantee that if the U.S. did get involved militarily, that a U.S. bomb could destroy Iran's nuclear program and facilities?
On everything or anything or life, you know that. Look at you, right? There's no guarantee.
This is his favorite thing, is he refuses to give guarantees, and he says nothing is guaranteed. Remember when he was like, what if a bomb dropped on us right now? I don't know.
You're saying a guarantee on what?
Do you think if the U.S. got involved militarily, it would actually wipe out Iran's nuclear program, or where's your assessment of that?
I hope their program's going to be wiped out long before that. But they're not going to have a nuclear weapon.
Do you have any reason to believe the Israelis are going to slow down, or are they going to hit the accelerator right now because they've got superiority?
Over the next 2 days, right? You're going to find out.
All right, you're going to find out over the next 2 days. So we are going to war with Iran, probably starting tonight. Mark my words, you can fucking quote me on this. Today is June 17th, 2025. It is 12:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. God, I hope I'm wrong. I believe that by midnight tonight, by June 18th, 2025, Donald Trump will declare war on Iran. I firmly believe that tonight, Donald Trump is going to green light sending B-2 bombers to Iran to bomb their nuclear facility at Fordo. I hope I'm wrong. So if you want to come back here and tell me I'm wrong, fuck yeah. But if you come back here and you tell me I'm right, well, I hate to say I told you so. No, genuinely, I will hate to say I told you so.
Nobody's slowed up so far.
Has the Gang of Eight been notified about what's coming in the next couple days?
We'll be talking to them.
What can you do?
It's not necessary.
What can you do in Washington that you couldn't do in Canada?
Hide. What could you do in Washington that you couldn't do in Canada? Hide.
A little bit, I think, more well-versed. Not having to use telephones so much because I don't believe in telephones. Because people like you listen to them, you know. So.
If we bomb nuclear facilities, does that cause nuclear reactions? Yes, but it doesn't cause nuclear explosions. For example, the IAEA, the International Atomic Energy Agency, has already said that the nuclear sites at Natanz, which Israel has bombed, they are underground facilities, and there is enriched uranium vapor leaking in those facilities, increasing the radiation levels. However, it is currently contained in the underground facilities. The IAEA is worried that if we continue to bomb Iran, those uranium-enriched vapors will emit out of the ground, which would literally increase radiation levels across Iran and start giving people radiation sickness, which is a death sentence. If you come in contact with anything radioactive, you will die, and slowly. Okay? This is something we have understood since Hiroshima. One fucking fallout ash touches you. One snowflake of fallout touches you. Dead. Dead.
Being on the scene is much better. And we did everything I had to do in the G7. We had a good G7. We signed the deal with the European Union, phase one of a deal. But we signed the deal with the UK, and the UK is really great. We're very far down.
All right, now he's just going to start talking about his stupid fucking trade deals. This is the Associated Press. President Donald Trump, in about 8 hours, went from suggesting a nuclear deal with Iran remained, quote, achievable, urging Tehran's 9.5 million residents to flee for their lives as he cut short his visit to an international summit to return to Washington for urgent talks. Chatter says, Chris, do you ever think you're a self-fulfilling prophet like Jesus Christ? Yes. Trump arrived at the White House early Tuesday at a moment of choosing in his presidency. Israel, with 5 days of missile strikes, has done considerable damage to Iran and believes it can now deal a permanent blow to Tehran's nuclear program, particularly if it gets a little bit more help from the Republican president. But deepening American involvement, perhaps by providing the Israelis with bunker-busting bombs to penetrate Iranian nuclear sites built deep underground to offering other than direct U.S. military support, comes with enormous political risk for Trump. Oh, fucking Christ. All right, let's take one last look at King Dolan's truth. All right, he hasn't posted anything new. Fantastic. Okay. If you're watching this pre-recorded on YouTube, that's all I got for you right now. It's early in the day. We might have more coming up. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. It costs you nothing, and it helps me immensely. If you want to support the channel financially, please become a member, a patron, buy some merch, and use the 40% off discount code for the Vantage subscription located in the description down below. Other than that, click that video right over there. It's a banger, and I know bangers. Also, to the person who was saying, are you worried that you're a prophet? If you want to genuinely tweak out, look up what my name means. Let me see. I'll do it for you. The name Christopher, derived from the Greek name Christophoros, means bearer of Christ or Christ bearer. And Valenti is an Italian origin meaning brave, valiant, or strong. So my name is literally the valiant bearer of Christ. Okay? And now get this. This one's going to blow your mind. My brother's name is Matthew. The name Matthew means gift of God or gift of Yahweh. My mother's name is Rosemary, dew of the sea. It has also been attributed to Mother Mary's womb, the rose of Mary. Okay? And then the very last one, my father, who fought in Vietnam, means warlike. It is derived from the Roman name Marcus, which is associated with the Roman god of war, Mars. If you thought I had a god complex because of, like, weird things, no. I have a god complex because I was sent by God. I know I may be a little late to the stream, but did you see that Bernie Sanders endorsed Mamdani? I did not, but that's good. Chris, you're giving away a lot of family info. Dude, my fucking... First of all, my dad's dead, okay? And he served in the military. All of his fucking records are public, okay? Everybody, you can find out my dad's name. Second of all, who gives a fuck if you know my mom's fucking name? Who gives a shit? And my brother comes on here all the time. Everybody already knows my brother's name is Matt. But yeah, isn't it fucking crazy that the names line up like that? And it's not like my parents did any research on that shit. They just chose names that they liked. Is that info in private no more? It hasn't been private for a long time, dog. Let's see how Fox News is covering
President Trump is back here in the U.S.
Chris is afraid to talk about simulation theory. Brother, the only thing I know about simulation theory is that if we ever created a simulation that simulates our existence, that pretty much means by definition that we are also a simulation.
After leaving the G7 summit in Canada early to deal with the conflict between Israel and Iran. But now,
you and your brother the only siblings? We have a bastard half-brother, but he doesn't really count.
Vice President J.D. Vance has released a statement on the entire situation. It is quite lengthy, but we do want to bring it to you in full. Take a look at this. In a post on X, he did write this, saying,
First, POTUS has been amazingly consistent over 10 years that Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. Over the last few months, he encouraged his foreign policy team to reach a deal with the Iranians to accomplish this goal. The president has made clear that Iran cannot have uranium enrichment, and he has said repeatedly that this would happen one of two ways, the easy way or the other way.
Quote, first, POTUS has been amazingly consistent over 10 years that Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. Over the last few months, he encouraged his foreign policy team to reach a deal with the Iranians to accomplish this goal. The president has made clear that Iran cannot have uranium enrichment, and he said repeatedly that this would happen one of two ways, the easy way or the, quote, other way. He went on to say this. Second, I've seen a lot of
confusion over the issue of civilian nuclear power and uranium enrichment. These are distinct issues. Iran could have civilian nuclear power without enrichment, but Iran rejected that. Meanwhile, they've enriched uranium far above the level necessary for any civilian purpose. They've been found in violation of their non-proliferation obligations by the IAEA, which is hardly a right-wing organization. Brother, they're not held to any obligations because your Supreme Führer, Donnie, pulled us out of the Iranian nuclear deal in 2018 because it had Barack Obama's signature on it. Do not ever fool yourself into believing this is the fault of Benjamin Netanyahu. This is the fault of King Doland. King Doland created this.
Confusion over the issue of civilian nuclear power and uranium enrichment. These are distinct issues. Iran could have civilian nuclear power without enrichment, but Iran rejected that. Meanwhile, they've enriched uranium far above the level necessary for any civilian purpose. They've been found in violation of their non-proliferation obligations by the International Atomic Energy Agency, which is hardly a right-wing organization. And then finally, he did end that post by saying this, quote, he may decide he needs to take further action to end Iranian enrichment. That decision ultimately belongs to the president. And of course, people are right to be worried about foreign entanglement after the last 25 years of idiotic foreign policy. But I believe the president has earned some trust on this issue, and having seen this up close and personal, I can assure you that he is only interested in using the American military to accomplish the American people's goals. Whatever he does, that is his focus. Now,
okay, so we're going to war. I need to make a thumbnail. Episode 154. Yo, do you guys remember when I said, since before Trump was inaugurated, I said if Donald Trump becomes the president, he's going to start World War III? Because Pepperidge Farm remembers. How many people do you think will support Trump by 2028? No more than 1 million, I think. At this rate, if he keeps it up the way that he's doing it, no more than 1 million. Oh, you know what else we need? We need B-2 bombers. What should I feed my little brother for breakfast? A bowl of rocks, no milk. Nah, we don't even need to remove it. And can I get a turkey, bacon, and Swiss? And could you let Mike fuck my sub? Could you let Mike have sex with my sandwich? And could you let Mike put some of his special cream on there? Could you ask Mike what we are? What are we? There we go. I think that's a banger. What do you guys think? Hold on. Let me turn off my camera. I think that's a banger. If Kamala was president, we'd be chilling right now. Yeah, I bet. All right. That's good to go. File. Download. Are we actually going to war? Yes. Yes. Tell Chris to check text from Jack. Oh, dude, that's the fucking cutest thing ever. Let me send this to Avi. Yeah, I know Hassan. I love Hassan. Hassan has reacted to some of my content before. I'm a huge Hassan fan. Honestly, I would fuck him. I would let him fuck me. Shit, he's gonna fucking see this, and then I'm gonna meet him one day, and then it's gonna be really fucking awkward. Hassan, if you ever watch this, you have to understand, dude, I have a girlfriend, and you are both of our hall passes. Take that as you will. This is similar to the Iraq War. Yes, but much worse. Iraq didn't have a military like Iran. Iran has a standing military and nuclear enrichment facilities, okay? This is completely different. Thank you, Cat, for making that. Thank you, Cat. W Cat. Can we get some W Cats? W Cat. Can we get some W Cat? See that Brett Lander got arrested by ICE? Who's Brett Lander? I told you. The U.S. is going to war with Iran. Emergency. Breaking. Too young for the sandbox. Too old for the sandbox. Just right. Perfectly timed for the sandbox. This goes into the Valenti VOD. Events dealing with war, death, and tragedy. Publish. Also, just want to make sure that video starts properly, because sometimes we have a problem. Hi there. Trump is having an emergency meeting. Yep, works. We are good. Chris needs merch. I have merch, Puffin. Look underneath me. Brother, look right below you. I've got merch right here. Yeah, everybody's abandoning Trump. Tucker Carlson abandoned Trump. That guy, what the fuck is his name, abandoned Trump? The guy who was with Mehdi Hassan. Everybody's abandoning Trump. The only people who still support Trump are mentally disabled. If you want to make merch out of it, I'm all for it. I sent it to my manager, and hopefully he decides whether or not to make it. You know, I'm hoping that he fucking makes it. Even Nick Fuentes is voicing approval. Nick Fuentes is a Nazi, and for him to abandon Trump is like, oh, okay. So it's over. So it's over for MAGA. No, Ron DeSantis would have been a dog shit president. He probably would have been better than Trump, but he still would have been a dog shit president.
Moments ago, this post on Truth Social, perhaps the key...
10 minutes ago, brother, me and CNN are posting the same coverage at the same time. I'm a goat.
I may unironically be the fucking GOAT.
Bill, as this conflict escalates, the U.S. is ramping up defenses in the Middle East amid fears of a wider war. Lucas Tomlinson's live at the Pentagon with the latest for us. Lucas, what are you hearing over there?
Good morning, Jackie. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has ordered the Nimitz aircraft
Does this tweet link work? Sources tell us that meeting yesterday between U.S. Ambassador Mike Huckabee and Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu devolved into a shouting match over Netanyahu's objections to U.S. plans to evacuate our citizens from Israel and the wider region. U.S. officials believe that Netanyahu's objection was predicated on his desire to hold U.S. citizens at risk in order to increase the likelihood of U.S. entry into Israel's conflict with Iran. Listen, I've said it before. Israel is the enemy of humanity. They're not the enemy of the United States. They are an enemy of humanity. Okay? And they are willing to keep American civilians in harm's way solely to bring us into this conflict. If there's one fucking thing the Israelis love to do, it's take human fucking shields. Fucking rats. More tweets from the same page. Instead of vetting Israeli units before sending weapons, it sends them first and ignores the war crimes after. The deadliest day yet in Gaza, by the way. Oh my God.
Carrier strike group to the Middle East to join the Vincent strike group already on station in the region. U.S. forces have not participated in any airstrikes inside Iran. Here is the defense secretary earlier on Jesse Waters.
What you're watching in real time is peace through strength and America first.
This isn't Fox News, Pete, you fucking alcoholic frat boy. Jesus Christ.
Our job is to be strong. We are postured defensively in the region to be strong. In pursuit of a peace.
He also does not give off the feeling of safety. He gives off erratic behavior. He gives like unpredictability, right? When I see him talking, it doesn't make me feel safe knowing this guy's in charge. This guy's a fucking nut job.
Deal. And we certainly hope that's what happens here. And America First means we're going to defend American personnel and American interests.
Now, Jackie, it's not clear if the whole Nimitz strike group, including its full complement of guided missile destroyers and likely an attack submarine, are headed to the Middle East. Nimitz and some of her escorts were spotted yesterday crossing the Singapore Strait, steaming west after leaving the South China Sea. This is the final deployment for Nimitz, having been at sea for nearly half a century.
He seems like he's a warmonger. Every single person in the Trump regime is a warmonger. There is not one fucking person that Trump has appointed that does not support this war. Do you understand that?
On board are squadrons of F-18 Super Hornet strike aircraft and Electronic Warfare Squadron 2. Back in 1980, helicopters from Nimitz launched the failed rescue of American hostages in Tehran. And over a dozen U.S. Air Force tankers are flying to the Middle East from Europe
there is
right now.
only one true Republican left, and his name is Adam Kinzinger. He is a friend of the show. He also just fucking texted me. What did he say? I'm not fucking showing you that. All right, let's see if Adam has anything to say about this. No, he had a recent post. Let me see what he has on Instagram. His post with his kid.
Special thanks to our sponsor, Coinbase.
I'm the Secretary of State, brought to you by Carl's Jr.
Why do you keep saying that?
Because they...
No, like, unironically.
This past weekend, America crossed the line.
Thank you for the $10 donation. War is only cool when it's a video game. Yep.
Special thanks to our sponsor, UFC. Special thanks to our sponsor, Coinbase.
I'm the Secretary of State, brought to you by Carl's Jr.
Why do you keep saying that?
Because they...
Hey, for you Republicans, here's somebody you should look up to.
Live with Katie Couric today, which is kind of a humble brag. It's a weird world I live in right now. I'm like, how is this my life? She was cussing at me. I was just like, I felt like I was talking to an AI kind of. I was like, how is this real? But on that Substack Live, do you know this yet? Have you heard about this? Okay. She said to me that she thinks that Adam Kinzinger is going to run for president, and I was like, president of what? It's like
I didn't tell her that.
I was like, president of his Rotary Club? But I don't know, man. Seems like you're sounding candidate-ish to me. I talked to a lot of candidates on the pod that are sounding a lot less candidate-ish than you, frankly. So I don't know. What do you got plans? You have anything you want to talk about?
I don't know. Listen, I'll honestly say this. This is like the thing. Thanks. The thing I'll say is this. Like, what the reason I think you can feel more passion from me is because there's no filter anymore, and I don't mean that like in an inappropriate way. I'm just like, I'm not gonna hide like what I feel and what I'm telling people, because like
that's what people want.
need. That's what they want.
So it's kind of an accident. Like, by being a non-politician, you're kind of acting more like an effective politician in a weird way, right?
Yeah.
It's a conundrum a little bit.
Look, I will say this. Like, I'm not ruling anything out.
Okay, now you're sounding like a politician.
I'm not. I would not run as a Republican for president because the party...
NYC mayoral candidate arrested by ICE? What? Who? Which one? Do not tell me it's Zoran. Brad Lander arrested by ICE. What?
And so joining us now is City Comptroller and mayoral candidate Brad Lander. Thank you so much for...
The guy who... What? I gotta text Dubby.
Keep going. Back up. Sorry, back up. I don't make this difficult. Sorry. Back up. Just back up. Let's not cause any problems.
Where is it?
Sir,
where is the warrant?
I have my hand here. I would like to see the warrant.
I would like to see the warrant, and then I will let go. I would like to see the warrant, and then I will let go.
Oh my God.
The warrant, and then I will let go. Take it.
Let's go.
You don't have the authority to arrest U.S. citizens.
Sir, you don't have the authority to arrest U.S. citizens. You don't have the... I'm not obstructing. I'm standing right here in the hallway. I asked to see the judicial warrant.
If they arrest Zoran, we are breaking him out of prison.
By asking for a judicial warrant?
ICE is turning into Trump's Gestapo. ICE has been Trump's Gestapo. Every single ICE agent is a subhuman rat unworthy of oxygen.
You don't have the authority to arrest U.S. citizens asking for a judicial warrant.
Sorry. No way. I'm safe. Where are you taking him? Hello?
Since you have no authority to arrest U.S. citizens, where are you taking me? And with what authority?
Yes, this is breaking news. ICE has arrested New York mayoral candidate Brad Lander.
With what authority?
And where are you taking him? No!
Security details. Number one is going to go with him, all right? Hang on. Where's number one? Hold on. Brett. Number one right here, all right? Thank you.
What are the charges? What are the charges? Lander has reportedly been accompanying immigrants outside to observe hearings and help shield individuals marked for potential deportation. I gotta text my boys. Hold on. I gotta get that footage for him. What is this on Fox? Oh my God. You live in a fascist regime, by the way. If you haven't noticed yet, the United States is a fascist authoritarian dictatorship, and democracy died on January 20th, 2025. Donald Trump is the most dangerous man who has ever been in the Oval Office. He needs to be removed. What is happening? Oh, I was right. Our nation elected a fascist, and now there's fascism here. That's what happened, is everything I ever predicted came true.
Now let's bring in Democratic Senator John Fetterman out of Pennsylvania, member of the Homeland Security and Government Affairs.
Look at this fucking piece of shit, bald, monkey-looking, gorilla-eared fucking fascist traitor. His fucking stroke made him better than he was before. And I don't mean better as in, like, made him a better person. I mean, like, now he matches what he looks like.
Affairs Committee and Senator, thank you for your time. Thanks for coming on here today.
Oh, great to be here.
Okay, you responded yes to the following question when Benjamin Netanyahu was asked yesterday on ABC.
By the way, this guy, John Fetterman, slammed his hands on his desk during a fucking hearing and started screaming, "Why does nobody like me? I've never done anything!" to the point where his own staffers started crying and running out of the room.
The Supreme Leader. Go ahead and roll this for me.
I'm not going to get into the details, but we've targeted their top nuclear scientists. It's basically Hitler's nuclear team.
Pretty much said go for it. And today in the Wall Street Journal, you've got this from Mark Penn and Andrew Stein. They write, Trump does Jews another mitzvah. His support for Israel against Iran builds on tough actions against campus anti-Semitism. There's a lot covered in there, but I read that this morning and I thought you could have had a byline on that piece, the way you have been so hawkish with Israel's position right now. You say show no mercy, and if you have to take the Supreme Leader out, do it. Explain your position now, sir.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I think they should have targeted him. Absolutely, taken him out. I think the way Israel operates, they just take out the leadership, just like they did with Hezbollah, and they've already done that with the Iranian leadership. Just took them out, even laying in their beds, and they didn't take down the whole building. They actually targeted where they lay in bed, and now they eliminated the military ones and the nuclear ones. That's magnificent, and the precision which they've done that. And I don't know why they would have left the leader out.
What comes after that if that reality were to take place, Senator?
Well, I think the reality is that you have a nation that just is in a position where they have to be held accountable for what they've done. They are the ones that built and created the proxies like Hamas and Hezbollah and put our whole region in this kinds of chaos. And now they clearly have nuclear ambitions. And now I think it's entirely, I'm not sure if I might have been the only one, constantly.
Fucking Dumbo over here could use his ears to flap up and out of frame.
Calling them to just take this facility out and to use the B-2 and those gigantic bunker buster ones and partner up with Israel, what they've done.
Well, all your Democratic colleagues are not on board with you. And Bernie Sanders is pushing for resolution right now. He writes this, he says, Netanyahu's reckless and illegal attacks violate international law and risk igniting a regional war.
By the way, this guy's a Democrat. This guy's a Democrat, or he pretended to be a Democrat in order to become the senator. And then as soon as he became the senator, he posted on Twitter, "Kill them all," in regards to Gaza. All caps, he tweeted, "Kill them all."
Or Congress must make it clear that the United States will not be dragged into Netanyahu's war of choice. And we have talked, we can put the quote on screen here. We've talked about the B-2 bombers. That does not mean boots on the ground. But just that line about reckless and illegal attacks. What do you think about that? And do you consider yourself far from the Democratic norm in your party?
Well, I mean, I'm going to vote that down. I've got in a habit of voting some of his kinds of votes down. Of course, I'm always going to stand with Israel through this. Now, if I'm an outlier...
Yeah, because AIPAC fucking pays you. You're always going to stand with Israel, you bald, Dumbo-eared motherfucker, because you get paid by AIPAC. Because you're bought out by the Israeli lobby and you're a traitor to the United States.
And Democratic, I mean, I guess perhaps. I'm unapologetically very pro-Israel. And now here, it's what's true, is that Iran has nuclear
there it
ambition.
Is. He said Iran. That's all you need to know. If somebody says Iran, disregard everything they say regarding the conflict. They can't even pronounce the name of the country properly.
100%. And now we can't ever allow them to acquire a bomb. And now what's also true is that they have created the proxies. They have Hamas and Hezbollah, so now let's hold them accountable for this. And again, we absolutely magnificent what Israel has done since Saturday when this launched as well. Done with such precision and lethality, and we want to support that. Now, I think we absolutely got to follow them into this and take out the nuclear facilities, because it might not even a true path for real peace in the region. Now, because now taking out Iran at this point, that's necessary if you ever have a chance to have any real peace in the Middle East.
When you consider how far the U.S. should be aligned militarily with Israel in this operation, the Israelis might be able to do it on their own. But if they can't, how far and how close should the U.S. go and be with them?
Well, I think it's a great start with the 30,000-pound bunker busters. And I just keep dropping them until you can actually confirm what exactly happened to them. We have the tools, and Israel and the world has the need to finally take this out, and we can't ever have Iran acquire a nuclear weapon. And now what Israel has already done, it's demonstrated that Iran really lacks any kinds of real military capabilities. And now we absolutely have to finish it out and now figure out where this goes after this. Possibly there could be some unintended consequences, but for me, what's most important to stop Iran and their nuclear weapons, but also now after Iran has been broken and humiliated on the world stage after what Israel has done, now we have to just, again, finish it out. And I think America absolutely has to have their back through this.
Okay, by extension, I just want to play this piece of video from over the weekend. There were these No Kings rallies all over the country, thousands of them. And this was at the event in Philadelphia when your name was mentioned. Watch here.
Now, this is not a rally for one party. We've got Democrats here today. We've got Republicans and independents here today. We're looking to the leaders who will fight for us, because even today there are folks among the Democratic Party who think we should roll over and play dead. Anyone seen John Fetterman here today?
So, sir, on the same day on Saturday, you sent this out on X. You said the parade is comprised, the U.S. Army parade in Washington. It's comprised of our sons, daughters, mothers, and fathers, the very best of us, regardless of your politics. It's appropriate to celebrate the 250 years of sacrifice, dedication, and service. What did you think of the boos in Philadelphia?
Well, I think two things can be true. I think absolutely my unapologetically supportive Israel and a secure border and refuse to vote to shut the government down. I have absolutely. I've taken a hit with from the base. I'm not sure why Democrats would boo a fellow Democrat, but that's their prerogative now. And now with that military parade. Again, you know, there was no goose stepping. And now, like, first of all, let's say stop ever comparing anything to the Nazis and those kinds of things. That's crazy. And now remember, that's our soldiers.
Stop comparing anyone to the Nazis? Then what's the point about learning about them? What's the point about learning? Oh, there was a hair on the screen, on the camera. What is the point about learning about? Why don't we just pretend it never happened then? Okay? If we're never allowed to compare any world leader to Hitler, and we're never allowed to compare any regime to the Nazis, then why don't we just pretend it never fucking happened? That is the entire fucking point of learning history, is so you can see the rhyme. History doesn't repeat itself, but it certainly fucking rhymes. And what I'm seeing rhymes a lot with Nazi Germany. So what? I just can't compare it? You fucking pussies.
That's, you know, this is not an occupying force. You know, this is a 250, anniversary for the Army. Why? I'm not sure why it's outrageous to have a parade to celebrate the Army. Now, look at that video that's on the screen now. That's not, like some kind of like, anything extreme. It's celebrating, a quarter of a millennia about the American Army. It's like, I don't understand why that's controversial.
One last question, if I could. The president's trying to get ICE to step up deportations, and he specifically named blue-leaning Democratic cities, of which Philadelphia and Pittsburgh were not named, but maybe they could be. Would you support the deportation on behalf of ICE and illegals who live in cities that you represent?
Well, let's talk about what I support. I absolutely support it, and I was the leading co-sponsor of the Lakin bill. So absolutely target the criminals, that are here illegally and deport them. I voted for that. I think that's what we should have. No one here should be here illegally if they have a criminal record or engaging in criminal behavior.
They're not deporting people who are here illegally with a criminal record, John. They are kidnapping random fucking people off the street with no identification while wearing masks without a warrant, non-violent, no criminal records, including U.S. citizens, and shipping them to a slave labor camp. I don't even think I have rage anymore. Like, I have rage, but for things like this, I've heard it repeated so many times that now I'm at the point where I'm numb. I'm numb. And that's not a point, that's not something you want to fuck with, okay? When you numb your society, they become heartless.
Actually deport them, and now I think they've also realized don't target actually otherwise hardworking migrants, whether now working in agriculture or working at the hotel industry and there. Like two things must be true.
We did, Andrew.
Absolutely. Round up all of the criminals and deport them, but not target otherwise law following migrants that are a very critical part of our immigration. I mean, both those two must be true. And because I think the vast majorities, the Americans want that.
Senator.
This guy's such a fucking idiot. God, I fucking hate John Fetterman. Hey, John Fetterman, if you ever watch this clip, suck my dick, ape. You fucking piece of shit. The best part of John Fetterman trickled down his mother's fucking thigh.
As Israel continues its attacks on Iran, there's growing speculation that it may need to talk to Washington about the possible use of American bunker buster bombs. That's because if it wants to realize its goal of destroying Iranian nuclear facilities, it's going to have to take out the Fordo enrichment plant, which is buried deep under a mountain in Iran.
Does this guy have a gun pointed to him right now? He looks like he has a fucking gun pointed to him.
Right now, Israel itself lacks the conventional capability.
Jan just said USA is a mistake. Fuck you mean by that? Fuck you mean by that?
To take out as such a facility, so it would need to talk to the U.S. about the bunker buster. Now, the bunker buster is not a specific bomb; it's a type of bomb. What we're talking about is a specific American weapon, which is 30,000-pound precision-guided bomb, and it can only be carried by the B-2 stealth bomber right now. Because that's the only plane that's configured to carry such a weapon. Now, this, of course, means that you'd have an American plane with an American pilot dropping an American bomb on an Iranian nuclear facility, which raises the possibility, obviously, of getting the U.S. more directly involved in a conflict in the Mideast, which is something that President Trump has said that he doesn't want to do. Trump has himself refused to comment on the possibility of U.S. military assistance like that, and Israel itself has said that it's
Oh. Okay. He hasn't tweeted again. All right. Might take a break, guys. Been live for almost 3.5 hours. Might take a little break, eat, get some food in me. Maybe I'll go to the gym. All right? All right? All right, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. It costs you absolutely nothing, and it helps me immensely. I will catch you in the next stream. Perhaps I'll stream again later. We will find out. Yeah. Later.